to the Showdown.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Showdown Dodgecast. I'll be your host for this episode. My name is Matt. With me as always is my co-host, Kyle.
How's it going, everybody?
We got Terence here, we got Pete here, and we got a special guest, Joey, over here.
Oh, here we go.
So we had the ToC this weekend. That was a hell of a lot of dodgeball. Hell of a fun weekend with the round robin on Saturday, then the official playoffs on Sunday. The reason I'm the host for this special podcast is because these three rascals right here happen to win the big tournament for SDL. How about that, boys?
Yeah, thank you.
Well done.
Thanks, Joey.
Way to bring it home to SDL, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys got the trophy. Did you?
We just
wrestle
walked
this
away with
from-
it.
Are you not supposed to keep it?
I think Terence just picked it up and walked out.
Trong said to take it home.
It sounded
Keep it
cool
for a little
before
while.
we said
Very respectable. Very respectable.
I think he's trying to get rid of it, so if we thrash it, I don't think he really cares too much.
You'll make a new one?
Yeah.
Well, I must say it was a hell of a battle. Really proud of the way that SDL sort of trained for this tournament. I think that's something that it speaks a lot about the SDL, that there was 3 practice tournaments leading up to it, and we got to play you guys, and even 2 Chris in 1 cup. The other team in the finals, they played you guys. It was kind of just It was a good demonstration of the hunger for dodgeball in the Lower Mainland, and for you guys to come out on top, I think that's a bold statement, actually, in terms of Surrey and Vancouver, even in terms of like geographical location. Surrey is an upcoming city, you know, like it seems like it's almost like an analogy for the way things have been going the last few years. But I kind of want to interview you guys with Joey's help, of course. You know, what it was like and what you guys experienced in that tournament, because as far as I'm concerned, that's the biggest tournament that's ever been held for our brand of dodgeball, and you guys came out on top. I'm going to do my best to be a impartial, non-SDL player here, but full disclosure, I did play for the SDL. One thing I noticed, my heart is kind of where, like, I'm kind of like a dodgeball nomad. I played in a lot of leagues. Same with you. The league you're currently playing the most in is kind of the one that you have the most affinity for, and I've never seen a league have as much available dodgeball as SDL. Like, just all the drop-ins going year-round, from the winter to the summer. Like, they don't stop. And, you know, that kind of gave it a power shot of, like, you know, I feel pretty jazzed about the SDL, just as a group of people. So let's get into it. How did you find the tournament as a whole?
It was good. It was well run, which was nice. It was poor Hauser.
He likes plastic.
Yeah, that's okay for him. He liked Nathan too.
And he's all plastic.
Nathan's all plastic and allergic to cats. But yeah, no, it was well run. It was well organized. There was opportunity to catch up with people that we had met in other leagues. There was opportunity to play against new people. But it was good. Like, for us, it was definitely it was a long tournament. I think I did the math, and for us, it worked out too. We played 63 games in 2 days.
Oh, right, in 2 days. Jesus.
Yeah, so it was a lot, because we played 42 round robin, and then... Oh, actually, no, sorry, 65. My apologies. We played 23 actual playoff games. Whereas,
that's in the winners bracket, too.
That's in the winners
bracket.
bracket.
There's other teams that probably played quite a bit more, like, yeah.
Yeah, the team we played in the finals actually ended up playing, 40 games altogether, just in playoffs.
Just in that day.
Yeah.
So 82 games altogether.
It's a lot of dodgeball.
That's the thing, when my team got bumped into losers bracket, like, I didn't even consider, like, how much bigger this tournament is than a usual VDL tournament. Like, don't get bumped into losers. That's like that's crucial. And you know, watching 2 Chris go through those, like, last 4 series was like, those were 4 VDL Tier 1 championship games in a row. And like, they played really well, but you know, that's kind of getting into it, but you guys actually put them in losers bracket. I kind of want to start there, because that's the first bit of footage that Debs actually put up, was the first series you guys had. Before that, though, what was who was your first matchup? I didn't see that.
Toon Squad from Seattle.
Oh, wow.
Seattle.
Yeah.
Okay, and how'd they stack up? Because that's an unknown. Everyone on that team is unknown.
They had a lot of throwing power. That was something that we were conscious of. You know, Decker and Vo on the left-hand side had to keep their side in check. And I had Brandon on my side throwing some heavy heat. T, what do you think of that series?
I want to hear from T.
To be honest, I can't remember anything.
It's just a blur.
It's just a
He's
blur.
the champ.
It
Oh,
just feels
That's
good.
all.
I remember from the Toon Squad that they were there was no structure in their game. Like
Right.
there was no plan with them off the opening rush. They were just they got a ball and they came at somebody with it, right? And they didn't really look around, but they could play. Like they had the dodgeball skills.
Right.
I just think that because of the gameplay that they like the game styles they're used to playing, they just maybe didn't even realize that they would have
Yeah.
to slow it down and things like that. That they would figure maybe everyone would just play that way
Yeah.
against them, and then they would prevail. I don't know. Maybe after that they had to tone it down after
Yeah.
playing us and realizing like, oh crap, like these guys just came up to the line and picked us all off.
Yeah.
While we
Well,
ran around.
Were they kind of playing SDL style then? Is that kind of...
I don't really know if I would call it that much because they didn't really even stay really in their lanes almost.
Oh,
like,
wow.
It was kind
yeah,
of
I did notice that. The Seattle guys, like, all of them kind of, like,
they would
scrambled
go
around.
wherever,
Yeah.
There was no set position for them. It didn't seem like.
I
They
didn't
just
get a
had a
chance to
side.
see them. I didn't get a chance to see them play or play against them. I heard they had some pretty good arms. Like Shane was
Yeah.
trying to tell me there's 6. Like the bigger guy with the long
Brandon.
hair.
Brandon.
Is that Brandon? He had a monster arm apparently.
He
So,
can get up to 65, and one of the other players can get up to 70.
so it was big arms.
Big arms.
On that team, one of the guys was getting up to 70? Jesus. All right.
Yeah, even without your encouragement.
No, yeah.
Right,
That's what I'm all about. Get that 70. You can't stop.
No stop until you hit it. Still don't think I hit it.
You guys mentioned position there. That was one thing I wanted to bring up too. In the practice tournaments, you guys had you and Kyle on the side the whole time, and then you guys switched it for, I guess, playoffs day. I didn't see round robin day. Was that something you guys just did on playoff day? You switched it up?
We switched it. Vo and I discussed it because we were seeing some things. And when we actually played 2 Chris 1 Cup the first day, and we were doing all right. We were right there, but there's little things that we thought we could take advantage of and capitalize on, and that was the case. We just kind of discussed it and made the switch. It allowed Decker to be more aggressive. With Vo there, they're constantly throwing game balls back, hitting people.
Yeah.
And then my game turned into holding their 5 and 6, whoever we were up against, so that those guys can just kill and work their way across.
Yeah, well, you do that really well. I noticed watching your vids, like I don't want to spoil any Kyle Schmid's super pro tips here, but the second any player, like even if it's CT, doesn't matter what player, the second any of them look backwards to see where the teammates are, that's when you throw at them, and you have a super high success rate of like getting people, even when they look back and they're like, oh, Kyle's throwing at me, shit, and then you hit them in the foot still, like they can't react fast enough. I noticed that like you were really doing a good job of like keeping even the like players like CT like frustrated in that regard.
It was a big part of like our game plan. Our approach actually was just keeping people unbalanced and just hitting people.
Was that okay? Keeping people unbalanced, was that something you guys actually talked about, or did it just come naturally?
It just comes naturally with the way we play.
Okay.
You know, it's like you look at the way Pete plays. Like Pete sees somebody, Pete's gonna hit somebody. You know, you're like, no.
He did with Chris. I know that was one thing I wanted to bring up. There was.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, here we go.
There we
I
go.
would say the tables have turned now that the camera's on.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with Kyle there that I'll take a hit. Like if I have a ball, sometimes I'm tunnel vision. I won't even look to see if anybody's with me. I'm just if I got a chance to take a hit, I'll take it. Someone's in a vulnerable position, then I'll go ahead. Or even sometimes they think, oh well, he's just gonna wait for the next guy. Well, no,
Yeah.
I'll just throw it. Like,
Yeah.
I'll just throw it at you. You can't reset with these rules.
No, yeah,
like,
so you might as well take the
guys
shot.
might as well take a shot.
I
right?
noticed there was at least once where, and I think it was in that first series against to Chris, where and if something, the way I play is like a traditional VDL style, which is a lot like the way 2 Chris plays or Banana plays, where like you hold your ball and you sort of like wait for the team to mount up. But I noticed when you guys were playing them, there'd be like a point where Chris didn't have a ball and someone on the other side was like rolling him a ball, and you just ran up and wailed it at Chris like in one point before the ball got to him, and you were all by yourself taking that shot, which is risky because Chris is a good catcher too. And I think that was what you guys were doing. You were playing kind of that sort of pace, and the way I'm just noticing it now is like VDL style, super regimented style, like those 2 teams especially are like masters at other teams playing that style. But when you guys brought your style in, I think it was like the power versus speed, or you know, like the classic mismatch, like, and you guys actually pull it out. And I'm wondering if there's something to that. Like I wonder if maybe that's like the next level of dodgeball, because for a while it seemed like you got to play this regimented style, like the Brandon Wen, slow it down. don't expel too much energy, mount up, throw together. But you won without needing to do that constantly. Like you didn't need to do that.
I think what allows us to do that, like the biggest reason, would be the ladies on our team.
Oh.
Ada and Jackie, like beyond the fact that they're already phenomenal players, they were incredible.
Yes.
When we needed them to be, making catches, hitting people, supplying, like sweeping, supplying, taking shots themselves.
Position was big too. I noticed there's a lot of times where Ada was like an inch away from the line, like blocking all cross courts from you, and not during the opening rush, just like any point during the game where like their back left had a ball, like Ada was right up there so that you could mount up.
Yeah,
they're making big catches.
Yeah. Ada caught Byron, I think three times in that one series. She was incredible. Jackie made huge catches as well. It was great. Like they were on fire. And like a bit like in part of the girls being successful, the fact that like just our team fits.
It works well.
Each person fits with each other for the greater whole. So we can change up how we play at any point. If we want to go fast, we can go fast. If we want to slow it down, we can go slow. It was great. It was awesome to see. And a lot of people that were not, quote unquote known on our team, everyone knows who they are now.
Yeah, like the two of you and the two girls, like I don't think a lot of people in VDL had a beat on you guys yet. Have either of you two ever played Spartans before?
No.
Wow.
No.
Had you played Bananas?
No, I played Victor a few times. From him coming over to our league. And
like just sprinkled into the
Calgary
SDL.
And stuff like that.
Oh, right.
Usually they're charity tournaments. We see.
But Calgary was a whole different thing. Like last year, Calgary, because me and Pete and Terence played on the same team. And at that time, Decker, like no one really knew who he was. And we actually, to a certain extent, didn't really know who Decker was, So I think since that time, playing you now compared to then, I don't think there's anyone that would have thought, like, okay, this guy's gotten this much better in such a short period of time. So even then, I don't think they would have been able to kind of guess.
Yeah, forged in the crucible of SDL nonstop dodgeball year round. Because I feel like I've been playing you for so long, it's like, of course Pete's a threat. Of course he's going to kill people. You're going to murder him, Rack.
Yeah, I love dodgeball. So if they keep bringing it, I'll keep showing up. So that's how I like to do it. It gets me out of the house, man. I love it.
Yeah, it's the only thing that's keeping me from like just becoming out of shape. Like you guys saw my den over there. Like my job is sitting at a desk. Like I need dodgeball or else I'm not gonna make it. But that reminds me. I wanted to sort of get a little breakdown on all our guests. What your guys' history is with the sport. Speaking of you guys being so new, but let's start it off with the regular nomad himself, Kyle Schmid. How long have you been playing dodgeball, man?
It's 10 years now.
10.
Started season 1 with CDL.
You really were season 1. Oh, season 1 for a CDL.
Yeah.
How did you hear about it?
It was back when we were part of a business competition, and there was an athletic component to each of these the specific business competition, and that year was dodgeball.
Huh.
And our captains did a little research. There were 2 leagues. One was Vancouver. One was this new Coquitlam league. The price for Vancouver was $450. The price for Coquitlam was $150.
Wow. Yeah.
So we went with the cheaper option.
Smart.
And I've been enjoying it ever since. Decker loves Timbits.
Okay, it's just something I've always been curious about too. Like, when did you become tier 1?
There was never really tier 1 out in Coquitlam to start out with. I wouldn't say like I was tier 1 level player until maybe the first season I played in VDL. Okay. Which was, I think, my 5th season.
Okay.
And I was fortunate enough to play with a team called Superheroes in Training, or The Shit, which was Brandon, Rogan, Al, Tyson, Ellie, and that first season was Bree.
That's a great lineup.
Yeah, it's not bad. And from there, I started to realize, okay, cool, I can hang with these people.
Yeah.
And I've just been fortunate ever since, to consistently play with new people, help people along, and just contribute in different ways.
Yeah, well, I'd say that's exactly what you've done. All right, I don't want to spend too much time. There's so much more I'd like to ask you about your history with dodgeball. We'll save it for another time. All right, next up, Big T. I remember you from SDL. That's where I first saw you, and you recognized me because you used to go to CrossFit with my brother Blake.
Yeah.
That's funny. Like, what? Small world. But yeah, where'd you start playing dodgeball? Was it
2 years?
2 years. That's
2
it.
2 years. A buddy of mine, Ferdinand, asked me to come and play, so I was like, "Yeah, I'll play." So we started off in silver.
For SDL.
Correct.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do I know Ferdinand? Is it?
I
Does he
don't
play
think so.
still?
He doesn't play anymore. He hurt his back and
Oh,
sciatica.
these things happen.
So yeah, and then started first playing Tier 1 just this year with Vo. Vo asked me to play on his team, and then the CDL. And that's the extent of Tier 1.
Yeah, well, the thing I noticed about your playstyle is you become an anchor, like someone that, like a team,
Oh, thanks.
you like round it out. Like, you've got guns on the corner, but the middle is usually, like, I find that's the most important role for someone to be able to play. And, this tournament, you definitely showed, like, how you kept that crew together, I feel like. And especially in the most clutch of times, which we will get to. I just think it's really impressive for 2 years to be pulling that kind of highlight reel out of your whatever.
Thank you.
It's impressive to say the least. 2 years, I can't believe it.
What's
All right.
impressive about Terrence is he can play in the middle and give everybody balls and be like, help everyone on the court. But he can also play that role when you need him to attack or you need him to
some big hits.
actually
You were
play.
getting big hits this
You know,
tournament,
like
too.
it's not just like, Terrence stands there and that's all he does is give balls and
No.
try to make a catch. Like, no, if I need Terrence to come up to the line with me and throw a ball, like we're hitting that person out.
Yeah.
Like it's not like it's not an automatic catch that he's throwing or
Yeah.
anything like that.
No,
like
no,
he's
no.
there's an arm there too. So
It's smart. I
it's a
just feel like
complete
there's
player.
good court awareness.
It's
That's
a
why I
complete
feel like
player.
he's an anchor. He just keeps it going.
They don't call him Big T for nothing.
Yeah, you don't get a sweet nickname like Big T.
I think it's the daddy patience, right?
Is that what you call it?
The daddy patience.
All right, moving on down the line, we got Pistol Pete Decker.
I guess what am I? Am I the same as Terrence, or am I one season behind Terrence?
Probably one season behind.
So I'm coming up on 2 years playing dodgeball.
Yeah.
I started with a friend of mine. He was invited out by friends of his to sub for playoffs. And after he did that, he's like, man, this is pretty fun. And then so he found out the information for the very next coming up season. We did one of Kevin Vo's noob tournaments. He had us out for a newbie tournament.
Yeah.
So there was a bunch of us, a couple baseball guys that I played baseball with, and we kind of formed a team. And a couple of their girlfriends rounded up the team to make because we needed girls. And we just went out and played. We started and we played, I think, Terrence in silver playoffs that year.
Really?
That's where I saw Decker. I noticed Decker.
That's when you locked him up
I locked
that's
him
when
in.
you became the agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those that are watching that don't know, Terrence is my dodgeball agent. So if you ever would like me to play for you or anything, you have to go through Terrence.
After watching him play, I was hounding him to play on my summer team.
Yeah.
And
I know how it goes.
Yeah, so that's how we connected.
I mean, yeah, since that, like you said, Matt, every opportunity there is, I like to play. So I think since I started, I've done at least 3 nights a week.
Yeah. I
Last
noticed you're
season
there
was
every
4
time.
nights a
There was
week.
nothing you've missed.
I do. I'll go. Like I seem to have a little bit of a rubber arm too. So like, if you want me to go again the next day, I'll go again the next day. I love it. I think I'll continue to go hard at it until I can't, until my arm hurts so much.
Man, there's something about throwing, right? Like something that feels good about it. Like
Yeah, sometimes it even hurts a little bit, but it still feels good. Right?
It's good pain.
Yeah,
It's
it's a good pain. It's like getting a tattoo. It's a good pain.
All right, Joey, let's move on. What's your story?
I'll be quick. I think I started around the same time Terrence did, maybe 2.5 years or so. I started playing with Peter, Donna,
The Brew
Ada,
Crew, was it?
called Brew Crew. And then actually quite a long time ago, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, they used to play VDL, Peter and Donna. And I actually subbed on their team and even played in their playoffs. So that wasn't much because I didn't continue playing or anything like that. But really, I just started about 2.5 years ago. I think we started off, because SDL, as you know, is gold, platinum, whatever. We were in gold right away. So I kind of never really played the lower tiers. On Thursdays, I do actually with Kuna Matata. But really, I've only been on a couple of teams. And I played CDL this past season.
Yeah,
And,
was that your first time?
Me and you.
Yeah, boy.
CDL champs.
CDL champs.
It's an exclusive crew. We're all actually part of that
that's true,
CDL
actually.
championship.
Shout
crew.
out to Holy She.
Holy shit.
Holy She.
Yeah, the thing I like about your playstyle is that, like, you don't give a shit who's throwing at you. Like, you're the exact same composure, no matter, and you look game. And so it's like, if it's Byron throwing at you, it's Pete throwing at you, if it's someone you don't even know, like, I feel very confident that you're gonna come down with something. Like you seems confident when you're on defense, especially.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. You're not always confident, but when you are, it's just tremendous how much your gameplay can increase.
Yeah.
That was a big thing for me this tournament, where I was kind of in my head a little bit at times, but when I was out of that and my confidence was up, I felt like I could play with anyone I wanted to. I wanted the best competition. So that's kind of one thing that has been a common theme that me and Peter even talk about, is that we always want to play the best, no matter what. And that's how you're only going to get better. You know what I mean? So I think playing in gold right from the get-go has helped me improve maybe faster or even a little bit better than I normally would have if I played in the lower tiers. So
I feel like that's the thing. You need to find like that good crew to like weasel onto first.
Yeah.
Like, and if you can find it, it's like yes.
Yeah, I was pretty fortunate.
Because if you start with friend teams, you're gonna be low. You're gonna be low tier 3 in the VDL, getting smoked. And then it takes you a long time to build up, and then eventually you trim the fat. Like, oh, these people aren't serious; they can leave the team. Blah blah. And then you get like 3 years down the line. Now you're like, okay, we're doing a little good now. But if you can just jam onto like a good team right away,
For sure. That's actually what I did with CDL. I just jumped on that team.
Oh yeah, here we go. Of course, man.
I just jumped on it. I was like, I think Bo or you guys had 5 or 4 guys already.
yeah,
And I
think
joined
Trump-
like a few weeks in and ended up as just a sub, and then eventually I just kind of joined full time. But Trong couldn't make playoffs anyway, so
it all worked out.
Yeah.
All right, so we got that out of the way. I should have structure, not my best structure. Party foul.
Oh my god. Here we go.
We're taking that trophy back.
Oh, you are not.
High stakes.
Trophy stage. Trophy stage.
Well earned. I guess did we showcase that yet? The trophy.
Well, everyone can see it.
Everyone
I
can
think,
see it?
right? Yeah, it's beautiful. You guys remember on the weekend when Minute to Win It won this? Right?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I'm picking
I
up
seem
on
to recall
something.
something.
That's why we got it out here today.
I remember hugging a lot of people on Sunday.
Yeah, I remember there was some people that were more excited than we were, I think, watching from the video.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, that's good for the whole community that, there was more people than just that were playing that it actually meant
Oh, yeah.
something for,
It
right?
did, totally.
And that's cool, right? Like, I even, you watch some of the videos, you hear the chants, like, you hear people like, let's go VDL, or you hear like, let's go SDL. Like, there's a backing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when it's like that, that's good. It's not just like, oh, it's that team out there or those 6 people. It's, that's the league now. You're representing that league, and the whole league's behind you on both sides. So that was cool. It was a cool thing to be a part of, for sure.
Yeah, it's like rare that like regular people can be like, that's as close as you were ever going to get to like the Stanley Cup Finals or something. Like, home teams, like you're there to see your home team, and everyone's watching. I've never seen a crowd that big at Dodgeball, and like you said, people were cheering VDL, and you can hear Debs and her, like she's cheering for her guys, and Dayton and I were in the corner like just howling for you guys too, and like Cody was there too, and it was just good to see everyone with like a SDL jersey on. Everyone was like 100% behind you guys for that, and it was just, and not in like you got to beat those are the bad guys, we're the good guys. It's just like, this is the best Dodgeball that we're gonna see ever, and like you have a team to cheer for. Like I said, it's the league you play in the most is the one that you identify with, and like SDL, I've never seen a league just go like year round, no stop, and like it feels like it's been a lot of SDL condensed down to it, and I feel like everyone kind of felt that camaraderie, especially. You think like VDL, I don't think they have any summer stuff, maybe like a tournament on occasion, or a drop-in or something, but I remember when I played VDL a lot, it was like, okay, summer rolls around, you don't play Dodgeball for 2 months. Like
So what did you do?
Witten, luckily, a guy from the VDL, and Brandon, they would host sort of unofficial drop-ins, and they had like old raggy balls. They were like they're like used VDL balls, and that was the only game in town. You'd have to drive all the way down to Vancouver for some drop-in. That's why the cool thing about SDL is that I did that for like 7 years, driving 40 minutes to VDL because that was the only game in town. And SDL in like 2 or 3 years, or however long it's been around, has like gotten to the point where it's now equally as competitive. Like, that's really awesome, and it's in the hometown finally. Like, it's so funny walking out of a gym in Surrey and being like, oh, I only have a 20-minute drive ahead of me instead of a 45-minute drive. Like, that's awesome. That's the hometown.
To still get the same thing.
Yeah, to get the same thing.
And you're even getting players from there coming out to ours.
Which
right?
I think we'll see more of now. Like, especially if you're like, you want to play the best, to like, if that's your goal, like, well, SDL right now, according to the trophy that we have over here, is the best. So if you want the strongest players, apparently SDL's got it. So
Come and get it.
Come and get it. All right, so you guys knocked 2 Chris, 1 Cup into the losers bracket. Did you guys have any idea how important that was going to be? Like, did it make sense at the time? Because I know when we lost, like I said, I didn't realize how bad it was going to be in losers bracket. Like, did you guys know the importance of that moment?
Yeah, we knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, we knew. When we saw the bracket and how it lined up, and we thought, okay, like, yeah, that first game, obviously you don't underestimate anyone, but like we can handle them. But then, like, really, we got that as our second matchup.
That was second. Hey,
that was our second round matchup. It's like, really, we got to play arguably the best team that's in this tournament.
Dude, they were our first matchup.
And you guys took them to 5 games.
We took them to 5 games. Yeah.
Right. You guys had a rough round robin though, right?
Very rough.
That's what all I heard. All I kept saying or hearing was like, man, they.
Yeah, I think everyone could see it too.
Really?
Yeah, everyone could see it. But yeah, they were our first matchup, so that was a little bit tough to.
I mean,
to
what a
swallow.
game to watch that was, though.
That was exciting. Yeah, it was a heartbreaker, but because obviously we didn't win. But we were up 2, and then they took 3 straight on us.
All right, maybe a little tournament jitters, or what do you think happened there?
For us, you know what? We made a couple of mistakes, especially in Game 4, definitely in Game 5, but where we didn't exactly work as a team at the end when we had Chris. Chris, yeah,
Chris Tom.
We had him on the ropes, and then we didn't really work as a unit, and we threw cash and brought and so on. So yeah, we definitely made mistakes, and I don't think we'll be making those again. But it was exciting. It was exciting for us, and from what I heard from everyone that was watching, is exciting for them too. So
One of the best series of the tournament.
Damn, I missed it. Someone filmed it though, right?
it was filmed.
Okay.
Yeah,
It was heartbreaking
Dodgeball.
for us, though. But you know what? That really spurred us to like play harder,
Right.
and that really is the game that brought us together, I think.
Oh, okay.
Because round robin was so tough, and we ended up playing this hard game, and then all of a sudden that kind of that playing well together just got us rolling.
Yeah.
And they don't get much harder after that. So, going into the losers bracket after playing arguably the best team is like, okay, we can handle anybody now, right? Like,
I don't know. You guys' team was really tough.
Well, you guys bowled us over though, didn't you? We didn't
but
take one off you.
At that moment in time, for the tournament for us, though, we were playing really well.
Yeah.
So I don't know a lot of teams that could beat us in that moment.
Yeah. No, it felt pretty oppressive. Like we can't beat these guys. Like they've got it.
Yeah. We had the right amount of emotion mixed in with like playing together and like teamwork, just kind of combined.
Yeah, it felt tight. Like there was no holes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to kind of touch base on how well you guys played, you guys were in the losers bracket right away, and you guys finished tied for 6.
Yeah.
Out of 32 teams, you guys were at the very bottom of it and finished in the top 6.
Yeah, as a team, we're definitely proud. I think in the chat and like our group chats and stuff, it was immediately like, hey, I've never been so proud to play for a team, and we've never really actually played together at all. Really, as a unit, we've only played in one practice together. So it was good for us to kind of be able to come together and like,
I thought Alyssa was great.
Oh man,
Nick Simon was great.
Yeah.
And Nick
Taylor Gerber.
Nick Yu was a stud.
Cheater.
I'll say that right now. Nick Yu, you'll be watching this. You heard it here. Decker thinks you're a stud.
And a cheater.
Nick Yu,
Inside joke.
Ray, Taylor, Alyssa, they all, and even Thor. Tyler played for us on the first day. He played really well for us too, so we can't take anything away from him.
That's good. He's a really iconic start to the opening rush that he does. It's like unreal fast.
Turn and burn.
Unreal
Turn and
aggressive.
burn.
And then to like not have him there after, like that's gotta like really like people wouldn't know what to
Then
expect.
you got
Like,
Nick
they start
Simon.
fast, right? Yeah, then they got a nice like patient, like capable Nick Simon.
Yeah. No, like overall STL, like I think the sentiment that your team, that you just expressed about your team about wanting to play together, having such a good time playing together, I haven't heard anything other than that with all of the STL teams.
Yeah.
Was it the Langley team? They feel the same way. Carson wants to play with that team.
Rugrats.
Rugrats. They want to play in tournaments together moving forward.
Which is funny because when they first got put together,
there wasn't a lot of happiness.
Not a lot of happiness, right? But as soon as they started playing together and getting to know each other, and the truth is, like when you don't know players and you get matched up with them, and maybe you don't know them, you don't know how skilled they are. Maybe yes, you are a little bit upset, but once you start to play with them and you get to kind of build this teamwork and a unity, it's just like, well, why don't I play with these guys? And all of a sudden they enjoy playing with each other. And the tournament has this thing about bringing people together, not only teams, but leagues together, right? So I think partly that and partly just playing with each other all of a sudden they want to play each other. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and there was another team that pushed 2 Chris to 5 games.
Was it 5? Yeah.
It was 5.
Rugrats, right? Yeah.
So yeah, like you look at Rugrats, yet again a very inexperienced team.
Yeah, very
especially
new.
in relation to the competition coming from Vancouver. And yet there they were with the team that finished second. They're that close.
Yeah, they have 2 guys that are just 1 season in each, right?
Yeah.
They've got 3 big arms.
Yeah, that was
Cody
the thing
V,
they had
Cody
going for
Bird,
them too.
Dayton.
They had arms to spare.
Then you have Carson that can
Just catch.
catch.
That's a team that, give them a little time
Oh, yeah.
to develop. Man, like Cody V, I'm a big fan of Cody
all those
V.
guys are going to be really
Mario.
good dodgeball players.
Yeah.
Mario.
Yeah.
Mario.
Mario.
They already
on that
are.
team?
They already
Yeah.
are good players, but they're going to be really good players.
Yeah.
All those
Yeah,
guys.
you look at Shar and Boyer and how well they played. Like Shar kept Cody in the game many times on the opening rush, and not only that, made big catches. One of the clips that I've seen, Kay Wu from Richmond, RDL, threw right at her, and she goes, bounces in the air, she goes, and picks up. Feet don't move, nothing, just a very casual, like, oh, this is mine.
That's the vet.
Yeah.
Veteran.
And Boyer, just incredible in that corner. Like, she kept Dayton going, kept him focused.
Dayton
threw
too, another name,
Yeah.
right? Really big potential. Yeah, but I agree. Boyer played awesome. So did Shar. Yeah.
I think with a lot of those guys on those teams, they haven't been on a team that has had that much star power on it before. And it's new. They're new players. They're 2 rookies on that team, but to get them all together, it's like we were saying, like if you start on the friend team, you're going to start out low and it takes you a while to get up to that pace. But like that was just where they didn't even know each other. Just get together. You're all going to be good at some point and go. And like Dayton's been playing for a while and he's already really good.
Yep. Stabby, another player.
Yep.
Another rock
Yeah.
star.
Yeah,
SDL's got some young talent.
Yeah, someone who wasn't even there.
Yeah.
Yeah, who was at a baseball tournament, I think, this weekend.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, there's as many people as are there. There's even more that are still coming up.
Yeah.
And Vo actually mentioned this, I think, in our chat. He looked at the rosters from last year as Tournament of Champions, then looked at the rosters this year, and I think there was only like 8 or 9 players that were still
yeah.
there. So that just speaks to more and more people coming through the ranks. And a willingness on the part of SDL to go with what is the best in that moment. It was great.
You mean only 8 people from SDL, the league, total came
No,
back?
from last year's teams that played ToC, only 8 people played in last year's ToC.
Oh, okay.
On the
They were
competitive
part of
side.
SDL this year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's not get sidetracked talking about us kicking everybody's ass. Is that what we were talking about?
No, we're just doing some random.
I was going to say, you of all people, you're just like, I don't want to talk about this
Well, I
anymore.
mean, we're at the game here. We're talking about the game. All of a sudden, we're talking about Joey's team.
Listen, man, you can't always be talking about you, dude.
Jeez.
All right.
It made sense because they played 2 Chris, you guys played 2 Chris. We tied it together.
Yeah.
We'll bring it back. So you guys
No hard feelings, Joey.
Yeah,
No, I was interested. I needed to know. I was impressed that you guys went to game
I'm
5.
just giving you a hard time.
This guy. All right. So as far as I can tell on Deb's videos, the next series you guys had was the Spartans. Is that right?
We actually played Boss.
Boss team.
We played Chermy's team.
Tricera Boss.
Yeah.
Oh, I might not.
I think so. It was, oh man, what was their team name? It might have been Tricera Boss.
Tricera Boss, I believe.
Yeah,
Calgary's
there's-
teams have improved so much
Yeah.
since.
Man, I was just
Yeah.
gonna say they impressed that shit out of me, man.
I mean-
Boss, they improved so much. I couldn't stop gushing over them at the pub either.
Yeah.
So I must have told every single one of them, "Oh my god, you guys have gotten so good." I was pretty drunk, but yeah, I definitely talked to a lot of them, and the thing that impressed me is that every single one of them, when you talk to them, is they prepared just like SDL.
Nice.
When it came to
I
this,
love it.
right? And they said that even last year, from when we got back, or we had that tournament in Calgary, ever since then, their whole goal is, okay, we're going to come back for ToC, we're going to be better, and then we're also going to come back, and next time they come here, we're going to represent as well. So,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's been less than a year, right?
yeah.
Less than a year, yeah.
They've
Awesome.
improved so
Huge
10
much.
months. 10
All over
months.
the place, right?
I would say in Calgary they had maybe one solid team.
Yeah.
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 Bigger
'Cause-
charms.
Yeah, and you look at how they did this year, and you can look at one matchup in particular as the example when Angus's team beat Recess.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
A Boss team beat a VDL champion, a perennial contender, on the night of nights in VDL. It was incredible. Like watching that video and seeing the excitement on all of the Boss players' faces, both on the court and off the court. Very similar to how it was for STL and any team that was on the court. You know, we were there, we were supporting, we were standing behind each other.
Yeah.
And they were doing the same. Like they were right there the entire time. and Dale, upon request, actually at pub night, took his shoes off. So
I missed it. I missed the feet.
So yeah, like you look at Boss, and from a community perspective and from a performance perspective, just incredible. All around, just a great group of people. I'm stoked to go there in 2 months from now, hang out with them, and just continue to have a good time.
Yeah, they almost just because I didn't go to the first Boss tournament, but they kind of remind me of SDL, like in the hunger aspect. They seem hungry enough to drive across a whole freaking prairie to get over here to freaking play some dodgeball.
Yep.
So I didn't. Does Debs have that footage? Did I miss that? Okay.
No.
How'd that series go for you guys? I don't know.
3-1.
3-1.
They won the first game, and then we won the next 3.
Was there anything unexpected that they did?
No, I think the first game was a feeling out process because they were also riding that emotional high.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of want to kill it. So we played slow that first game, and the next game they slowed down as well with us, and then we just kind of hopped all over them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they're starting to play your game, that's kind of like we've already got a psychological advantage here.
And they changed their tactic after the first game too, because I had 2 balls coming at me on the opening rush in the first one. Then all of a sudden they moved their second ball into the middle, which left that player exposed for me, and their corner was too far back to actually press me. So I was just waiting till late in the count, hitting them. Decker and Vo were taking care of their corner. We were getting possession and just working it from there.
Okay, that's I didn't see it, but I like the idea of Boss being in the mix.
Definitely in the mix.
So you guys beat Boss. Then was it Spartans? Was that the next series?
It
you
was
guys? Or
Spartans
did you sneak
then.
one in there? And so you guys had never played Spartans before. Spartans never played you two
We played
before.
played them in the
Spartans
round robin.
Yeah.
That was the first time you guys had ever.
Yeah,
like,
we
come.
actually got matched up a couple times
Yeah.
against them in the round robin.
Okay.
So we did get to feel them out.
Okay.
We were fortunate enough to be playing a lot of the top teams.
Yeah.
Like our
Yeah,
first
in our
bracket
round
was
robin, we got matched up with a lot of the top teams. We had to play recess a few times.
Recess twice, 2 cups or 2 Chris's.
Yeah, Chimera from
Chimera,
Toronto.
Who beat us
Mhm.
in the round robin?
Yeah.
Well,
2-1.
that's kind of the story of that tournament. Is one thing I kind of wanted to mention. I think the VDL style, it's very insular, and that they play their style really well. And if you play VDL style against the top teams there, it's really hard to win because they've got like this monopoly on that style. But Boss has its own style. Seattle has its own style. Seattle knocked Recess out of the tournament.
Correct,
The
yeah.
Weaklings?
Is that
Weaklings.
Lucas?
Weaklings
Yeah,
there?
Lucas.
Lucas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
Lucas
is...
and
Is
the
that
boys.
the red team?
No, that was Dano.
Oh,
That was
okay, yeah.
Vincent.
And they did really
Vincent
well,
and
too.
What
Michael.
color was Weaklings playing?
They
They
didn't
were
really have a
scattered.
uniform color. They wore regular shirts. They're the only ones that didn't have a uniform.
Okay.
Yeah, but for them to beat Recess, like when you watch that series, it's something I noticed that you guys were doing as well. You're just throwing faster than teams were expecting. Like you would take the shot before they would expect it. Like a lot of people in the VDL style expect you to wait. It's almost like at the end of a mixed martial arts fight, if the bell rings, like you either agree to swing or you both kind of take it easy and you don't want to gas out before the next round. You kind of like flub it, and I noticed a lot of VDL kind of flub it until they can pounce on something. Whereas like you guys were pouncing all the time, and it's something I noticed the Weaklings did to Recess. Recess was just unprepared for it, and they were missing catches, and they expect you to wait a bit. Like, don't throw yet. It's not time yet. And that's one thing I noticed coming to SDL was, holy shit, these guys throw fast off the opening rush. Like, they don't care to wait to the last second and roll a dead ball, which happens sometimes, but VDL happens a lot more. Like, in VDL, the last 3 seconds of the opening rush is basically where everything happens, usually. But yeah, it's it seems scattered, but I don't think Seattle was fluking. I think that's just how they play, and that's just how you guys play. You played your style, and I noticed a lot of the VDL teams seem to struggle against like styles they weren't used to, and it almost felt like an old martial arts movie. We're like, oh, my crane style against your monkey style, and like it was really interesting to see for the first time like actual crisscross of styles. And I do have to give Chris's team credit that they actually came out to the SDL warm-up tournaments. Like, that shows a lot of initiative too.
That helped too.
Yeah, that they wanted to see the other styles out there, and they're excellent competitors, so they adapted as well as they could. But
Which they won.
Yes.
yeah, which they
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
They beat both of our teams actually. You guys went to the finals there, which is funny.
Yeah, and they beat us. It was epic dodgeball, but they beat us. So that's why we knew we could handle them.
Yeah.
They beat you guys 3-1?
It went
3-1,
3-1, correct, yeah.
3-1, I believe.
3-1, yeah. We won the first one. They won.
They took us 3-2 that tournament.
So you're,
man, so
you're
it's-
better then.
Well, everyone knows we're better than you, Decker.
Yeah.
I don't even know why you're here.
Just gonna ask you the same thing. Should we just leave?
Yeah.
Clearly, it's
I
all
just
for
drove him
Terrence.
there. I just drove you guys
They
here.
only wanted Terrence here.
Oh, we're getting to that. All right, before we get to that, Spartans got off to a 2-1 lead against you guys. That was like, I remember watching it. There's that moment when you're playing in a tournament and when you get down on a series like that, and it gets really hard to like imagine yourself winning at that point. What were you guys feeling? Like, did you feel like you still got it, or did it feel like it was like anyone's game?
I don't think anything changed for us.
No?
No, like we didn't even look at each other and go like, "Hey guys, we need to pull up our."
You didn't do like a team chat or anything?
No, we just lined up again and kept on going. Like the games were close enough that it wasn't like they were playing us out of the building. It was there. We just needed to capitalize on our opportunities, and that's what we did.
I think with that series, that was the one where people realized you guys were a threat to the championship. Like the spectators, I think that was the one where everyone's like, "Oh shit!" Like you could hear it in the voice too. Like people expect VDL to win, and then when VDL's not winning, it's like, "Oh, we don't know what's going on anymore." Like, is this going to be a shitty tournament? Like VDL's got to win, or else it's not going to be a rad tournament.
It still wins, and it's an awful time.
More like from a perspective, like you're like, "Oh, I want Chris to be in the finals because there's going to be mad plays happening all the time." But it's like, "Oh, STL's got mad plays too."
There's going to be
Damn.
equal amount of mad plays,
Yeah.
and not. That's what it really took against the Spartans, because let's be honest, they know how to play dodgeball.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of those people on that team has, could shit on me with experience. you
Yeah,
know?
they've been, and as a team too, they've been
right?
doing it
Like
for years.
collectively, like that's just ridiculous amount of experience, and so for us to beat them, we had to play, smart dodgeball, but we also had to pull plays out of our asses, and we did. There was some big dodgeball plays, and that's what we needed. Kyle had a huge catch
Game 4.
in
Yeah.
Game 4, and then Terrence had his huge catch in Game 5 against them. So, I
Yeah.
mean, it's. I mean, watching the videos, like maybe they could have done things a little bit different on Terrence's catch, for example. The throwing timing wasn't exactly there. Terrence was able to see the one ball for right off.
let's
right
talk
off
about that
Nick's
catch.
hand, right?
Do you think the first time they threw at you, you had a ball and you dropped it like you're ready for the catch. So like you played your card already. Like I'm looking to catch you guys.
Yeah.
I think though, like they smelled blood in the water at that point, and they effed up. They done goofed because like T's always game. T's clutch. That catch, I don't think I've ever yelled so hard at dodgeball in my whole life. My sides were actually like cramping. I was screaming so hard at that.
Is that picture accurate? You caught it up here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Holy shit!
Isn't
Because
that-
I had to leave, so I didn't. I missed those last 2 games.
Well,
I'm pretty sad about that.
those aren't good ones to.
It's 2-on-1. You're the last guy left, and this is elimination game, right? This was
Yeah.
game 5.
Yeah.
This was it. Last man standing.
And it's
This
Nick
was
and
it.
was it Rogan?
Brad. Yeah, Rogan. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Rogan.
Yeah. Okay, so those are 2 killers, 2 murderers,
Yeah.
and you come down with Nick's ball. That's unreal. That's like a CT level. That's gonna live in infamy. That catch. Like, I think Gino called it the catch heard around the world.
Yeah.
That's so good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then to compose himself and come up and
Yeah.
get that kill.
Oh,
after
that's the thing too. The
it
kill.
was-
That's where like your guys style. You had no time left on your ball, and it's like the
No.
VDL's like you got to throw, don't roll it. You took that shot. You guys took that shot, and you hit him out of the air. That's
Me and Jackie.
perfect. That's
Exactly.
like you guys didn't wait. That's kind of the thing. Like you have to capitalize now. Like do it now. It's just like that was the name of your guys' game. Like you didn't play VDL style. You played SDL style, which is like you take the shot.
It's huge. That was a huge shot to take. Did you guys have balls on your side?
We had all the balls.
All the
Yeah.
balls.
All
So
the balls.
let's say you roll that over.
Yeah, it keeps going. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Rogan.
He could come back and pick both of them off,
There you
or
go.
pick one off, and then it goes to a showdown, right?
Yeah.
So
That's the thing too. To see that like Rogan jumped for that one as well. I think at that moment you appeared to be superhuman to him, and he's like, I won't even try and catch this. I'm jumping. I'm getting out of the way because he's game to catch, but he jumped on that one, which I think was like that's very unlike Rogan to do that in a situation like that.
I've never played Rogan, so.
That's it too.
And you know what? That
That's it
could be
too.
that could be
That's
it too, right?
That's-
Like,
you
I
know-
don't know how hard this guy actually throws. He's
Yeah.
coming at me. He just made a huge catch.
Yeah.
I'm getting out of the way, like you said. I'd be getting out of the way too. Big T was coming at me.
Just the energy in the gym at that moment. I don't think like that's one of the highest highs I think I've ever seen in this sport. Just like for a game 5 turnaround, yeah, that was really something to see.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it was huge. You know, we celebrated that moment big time. I think Spartans were definitely our biggest challenge during the day, just because stylistically they're similar enough to us.
Yes.
That it caused us issues. It was each team had a puncher's chance against each other because we're all punchers.
Good way to put it.
And fortunately enough, we had a couple little extra tools in the toolkit and pulled them out at the right time, and it worked out for us.
All right, so that was maybe the turning point of the tournament, maybe like where the ball starts. You guys are tasting the victory at that point, maybe.
I wouldn't say that at all.
No, well, you guys had a long sit after that, right?
A lot of dodgeball after that too, but I don't even think we cared who we played next.
No.
Like, it got to a point where I don't even think we were asking each other that much. Like, who do we have next, or who is it after? Is this kind of just like, okay, like how it's more like how long do we have till the next game was kind of the question we asked.
Which was a long time, right?
So it was like you seeing Kyle doing his laps around the gym, just staying loose and staying in his zone.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, did you guys watch the games, or did you leave the gym? Or
I didn't watch any of the
really?
games after.
I personally didn't. I was outside after each game.
Yeah, I actually didn't know if we were playing in the finals until I asked Brandon when I was warming up, like, who are we playing? And he said Bananas at first. I'm like, okay. And he goes, oh no, it's 2 Chris. I'm like, okay.
So that was to get into finals, right?
I was talking about the actual finals. Like, okay. I had no idea who we were playing.
Spartans was still early.
Right, yeah, you guys
front door semifinal.
Bananas.
We had to play Bananas still.
I guess, yeah, the losers bracket was rough, but like you guys still had to play all the best teams anyways. Like, it was still rough to go winners bracket.
It wasn't easy games. I mean, the only thing is that like people that played in the losers bracket had to play more solid teams. We still had to play the top teams. Other teams just had to play the top teams plus other teams that say we squeaked by not having to play.
Yeah.
Sometimes back to back as well, right?
Yeah, and like playing really close back to back, like you're wiping off all the sweat, and they're like, hey, we need your team out here again.
Speaking of the sweat, I don't know, like you and Vo were throwing some excellent heat, like some of the best heat I've seen you guys throw. How the hell were you holding onto the ball? I don't even understand.
I could, in the very last, and against Bananas too, like there was times when the ball was really wet. I was just trying to keep my hand dry, like jersey, shorts, whatever I could, because it seemed like if your hand touched any part of your sweaty ass body, it then tried to grab the ball.
It's game over.
I mean, there's one in the Spartan series where you see Nick throw the ball
There's a couple,
20 feet up in the air, and it's like, it wasn't because he's a wild thing. It's because the ball was probably soaked when he grabbed it, right? He probably put it in between he probably held it here while the timeout was on, and then we'll play dodgeball now and like grab this sweaty ass ball, right?
I feel like the balls themselves might have had just so much sweat on them that had dried that like if your hand, even if it wasn't sweaty, as soon as you touch it, like just the heat was like turn back to sweat. Like I almost feel like I would like to experiment maybe in the SDL sometime, like actually spraying some rubbing alcohol on the balls like after a game or something and seeing if it like resets them or something, because that was a big factor for me. Like I couldn't finish a lot of my throws. You guys didn't seem like, from my perspective, like it's not a problem for Pete. He's throwing the heat no matter what. All right.
Yeah, I just had to try to adapt, maybe squeeze a bit harder or something like that. Plus, you just got to give her, man. You're playing for it all right there.
I guess.
Right? You can't make any excuses at that point.
No.
You just got to figure it out.
Yeah, you could see Ada in the game where it was her and Jackie versus Tiana at the end. Every time Ada gets a ball, she's wiping her hands on her shirt.
Oh, that's
she
what
picks
she
up,
said, right?
Yeah, and she's like, we were at White Spot afterwards, and she was like, yeah, my hands were so sweaty. And it was just like, that was kind of it. You had to adjust to the conditions. Like, it was...
That was an awesome sequence, by the way.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
Or was the 3 ladies?
Yeah.
Like, just patience.
They played it perfect. Yeah. And the fact that what I really liked is not only the fact that they both displayed so much patience, but the fact that they didn't stalemate the game. Like, they could have sat there, right? Like, if you want to take the rules into play, they could have let the ball roll back, and Ada and Jackie could have sat there and made that count start to get a second ball, right? They could have done that, but instead they said they just played dodgeball, right? Like like this is the one ball we have. And Ada like, okay, I'll play with this one ball. Right, like when in reality we could have, right? Like we could have yelled at them, like, "No, don't touch that! Don't touch that ball. We're gonna do this the right way." Like, which is what some teams probably would do, right?
That seems like something the VDL would want to do. Is like a very VDL thing. Is like min-max your ability to win, like no matter how long it takes. But like all three of those girls, or the two that were throwing, like it was throw, then throw, then throw, then throw. Like I liked that.
So they wanted to play, right?
Yeah.
It just worked out in our favor. I think they wore
Yeah.
her down good enough that she was able to finally throw that one close enough that
That's
one
good too.
could snag it, right?
For those girls too, you know that the girls want to make the catch, and the girls know that they don't have cannons, and they have to throw from farther than they're even used to because it's a high
Bigger
school gym.
gym,
Like that's a stressful situation to be in, like to throw at these murderers that like don't catch this. And so all of them were wide too on purpose because like I'm not gonna throw you a catch.
Yeah.
That was like just a really great sequence. Like it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen somewhere.
Who's catching who though, is what we want to know, right?
Yeah, that was good. They did good.
But that was huge for them because like I've only heard of that. Is it Tiana? Her name is.
Yeah.
I've only heard stories, but apparently she's one of the best.
Most
girls.
super well known.
And for those girls who are arguably up and comers in the SDL, like that's huge for them too. Huge confidence for them.
Yeah,
that's like me going up against CVAL, and having success. So that's great for them too because the girls get overlooked in their success. So
yeah, those two girls especially. I'm really happy that SDL like. Those are two of the finest example of like SDL girls, and it's great to see them get recognition on a stage that big. Because whenever they were doing the Kings and Queens tournament, everyone was like, "Oh, the VDL girls are going to win" or whatever. And I remember thinking when they said that, like, I don't think that makes sense. Like on paper, like these SDL girls are legit. Like we see them do gnarly shit all the time. It turns out they didn't win there, but like maybe now, like you guys have a little more confidence that like you guys are up there with the best of them.
Yeah, it's something I've been saying since I came over to STL and started playing. Like, Joey can verify this. And, like, the girls in STL are fucking awesome. They, across the board, they're incredible. You look at the teams that were made, and, you were struggling to figure out which girls were not going to be able to get into the team versus, having to go, like, find people to put in.
Mm-hmm. Or even which combos to use. Because,
Exactly.
I mean, there's so many... Arguably, the girls are so close in skill that you could put... so-and-so with so-and-so or so-and-so with so-and-so and it really wouldn't matter. Like they're all that good, right? So that's a bonus.
Yeah, our girls played amazing.
They were great.
Donna, Tina, Alyssa Taylor, Jackie Ada.
Each team
Boyer,
team
Boyer,
style.
Charles.
Boyer, Shar, and then Brenna.
Nadia.
Like they all played amazing. So
Yeah, it was great. I think it really showcased just how strong they are.
Yeah, good point.
And I know Mighty Mouse, are going to the all-female tournament in Seattle at the end of August.
awesome.
And we're really stoked to see how they do down there against Seattle and Portland.
What kind of balls?
It'll be fun, I think.
Is that a draft or?
No, teams are going.
Oh, okay.
It's all women's.
So yeah, no, it'll be great. But yeah, they're fantastic, and they demonstrated this weekend why we think so highly of the female members of the SDL, and why we are incredibly thankful that they play with us.
Yeah. There's even some up and coming girls too.
Yeah.
Paige.
Even on the open side, Paige. On the open side, we had Raw Meat, who finished first in the round robin. John's team had Sam and Crystal. Both played amazing, and Rob Me had Pam and Claudia. So I know that they played awesome.
Jeanette and Claudia have improved so much.
Yes.
Before now they're like catching, they're sweeping.
Yeah, there's a hunger there too, and Jeanette's got the thousand yard stare. Like she wants to get better, and she's like so like cold faced. Like doesn't matter what's happening. Like there's no expression. Like that's what you need. That's what you need to get better.
It's fire.
That's the fire. All right. So then I guess you guys had to play Banana next.
Yeah.
And still winners bracket. So
So winners bracket final at this point.
oh, winners bracket final, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that first game was really long. I don't know if you guys remember that, but that was like a battle of like a war of attrition on that one, and that was going to set the tone, I think, for the series. It was kind of like in badminton, they have this thing where like the first series or the first rally you guys played like sets the tone for the game. So it's like you need that point really bad. And it seemed like you guys weren't willing to let it go on that one. I can't remember specifically. I just remember it was long and it seemed grueling.
Vo made a catch. Bananas thought that they had hit him, but
Right.
it had hit the floor just before it got
It did
to
look
him.
like it hit the floor.
And
It's close, but whatever.
like that was just it. Like with Bananas in particular, it was like that moment happened. Vo made a catch. I believe Terrence came back in. and they proceeded.
Solid Blair.
I can't remember anything.
After that catch.
Can you really
yeah,
not remember?
I
anything,
cannot
or you kind of
remember
like
He can't remember because I actually watched the video today. He made a throw and he hit Byron.
Yeah,
when he
you were
came back
hitting people
in.
out, man.
And eliminated Byron from the game. And they just worked their way through. Vo hit Shane in the feet. And they eliminated one of the girls on the team. I don't think it was Carla. I think it might have been Aminta was their last player left.
Was that her name?
Minta, yeah.
Minta.
Yeah. And from there, it was just like awesome. Like this, like in our head at this point, it's cool. Let's go to game 2. It just it worked really well. Like, that was a team that it's once again one of those teams on paper that when people will look at that team and then look at us because they don't know us. This team should win, and that was the mentality. You could hear it in the commentary on the video.
Yeah,
that it was like they were kind of gobsmacked that we were winning, that we were pushing them, and that was kind of the story of the day. People weren't expecting what happened.
Well, do you think like SDL has like a reputation of being like aggressive from their perspective, like the headhunters? Like, do you think the SDL has like a headhunter reputation?
I think
like we can't cheer for them because they're too aggressive and they throw a little
maybe
high.
in some
and,
leagues we have that reputation. Like RDL probably thinks we have that.
Yeah,
right?
I look at it this way. Like VDL traditionally has struggled with teams that are aggressive and openly competitive.
Yeah.
Coming from the outside that aren't a part of that established group.
Right.
I've seen it time and time again. The teams that are competitive, athletic, in your face and all that, they tend to be not appreciated to the extent that they should be for what they're bringing to the league.
Yeah.
I think there was a little bit of there's too much bravado on that team. A little too much.
Well, I noticed with Toronto,
chest
like
bumping.
the crowd really turned on Toronto really quickly. I felt like they weren't necessarily on Toronto's side when Toronto was playing in those last couple matches. Specifically because like it seemed like they were a little too competitive and that when I see something like that, and that's one of the things that like draws me to the SDL is that the SDL appears to want strong competition, and if you have to get aggressive throws thrown at you as a result, like I want that because I think it represents the next level of the sport. It's not a fun game. We're playing a competitive game, but like that also doesn't mean you have to like dislike the other person. It's like the reason why mixed martial artists hug each other at the end of a fight. Like they don't hate each other, but they want the best possible competition.
Yeah, well, I think.
Yeah, if I want to get you out, I have to throw it at you as hard as I can.
And I would want nothing less.
That's the only way. Like
little puppy kisses.
Yeah, like I'm not getting. There's no way I'm getting Chris out if I throw it soft at him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know if I have to let out like a grunt or something for me to get extra on it,
Ba-boom.
I know he's not going to be looking at me like I'm trying to kill him. He's going to know, like a guy like that's going to know, like, okay, this guy's giving it, so maybe I'll come up and give him something.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I like about Chris. Like I feel like he likes to compete too. Like he definitely gets it. And,
I love that.
I really enjoyed seeing your guys' matchup because that's one that like I hadn't really seen a lot until that first practice tournament. Just because I hadn't been in the gym for a lot of it, but I thought that was a good matchup of like really good styles, and that's why I said like a new monster is born because I feel like you really sort of hang with like that upper echelon of like really gross players like Kyle as well. Just like sort of like the
I don't gross.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
I think me and Chris.
I need
Kyle.
a haircut.
I think Chris and I are still trying to figure out how to play against each other.
I think that's why
So-
you taking the shot, like the difference between you taking a shot at Chris when the ball is being rolled to him before he picks it up, and the difference between me taking a shot at Chris, like he's gonna catch mine, he's not gonna catch yours. Like
He has caught mine, but I'm down to play. Like let's play because I like out of 10 times, you're gonna get me, but I know I'm gonna get you too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I feel with everybody, like. You're gonna catch me, someone's gonna catch me, but there's a lot of times where you're not going to. So I'll just go with that. You know what I mean? Like I'll go with that, and like I'll probably get to give the fist pump like more times out of 10 than you are going to, right? So I'll live with that, right? But I'm gonna fail too. We're all gonna fail, right? We all throw those catches when we're like, oh man, I'm an idiot, right? But
That's what round robin's for.
well, hey, they can happen in the playoffs too. It's just thankfully they didn't this time for us. I think I had a little bit extra on every throw in the playoffs, though.
All All right, so then there was I noticed Ada was coming up pretty big in that series. Like I think she was catching
caught
a lot of
Byron.
people on the opening rush on like their throws to the side. But it's like Ada, like you can't see it on Deb's video, but Ada must have just been like zeroing in on all those like throwaway shots, like the ones that weren't meant to be like kill shots, but like she was catching every one of them.
Yeah, we spoke about it afterwards, and she said after the first game she realized where Byron was throwing.
Nice.
And she just moved as soon as he was throwing and was making those catches. I think he got caught out twice by Ada, and Jackie caught out somebody else.
CT, I think.
Yeah, in the finals.
In the final.
Yeah. It was just the girls making those adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Ada came out huge on those plays.
Mm-hmm.
But that's Byron off the opening rush.
Yeah.
And what it became was I was holding Byron until he was at the end of
Yep.
it, and then he was trying to reset it, and Ada was just jumping in front of it. So we were getting a possession out of that side, which opens it up for Decker and Vo once again to go super aggressive against, I think it was Shane in front of you guys.
No, Victor.
Victor, right? Yeah, Victor in front of them, and we were really successful at getting their 3 out every time. It was always the Voos, but the Voos were out pretty quick in most of those games. So it was.
I think
good.
Jay caught me one of the games.
Yeah. It was
That was-
second game.
Yeah, maybe the second game.
Second game. Yeah.
Second or third game. Maybe the third game. I think the second game he was out pretty early. I caught Victor in the second game.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was fantastic, you know. And I was just, like, we never really got too high or too low the whole time.
That's key, I think. Like
I think we knew who we were playing. You know what I mean? Like all these games, like you know who you're playing now. Like all of a sudden, it's like you got to do everything at this point. Like, and if there is a slight mistake, you got to really pick it up from that. Like, because there is no room for mistakes in that.
No, not against those teams. Like
No.
Banana and Chris, especially. Like they're the best example of the VDL style, and like that's a really rigid style to play against, and they can make the catches too. That's the other big thing. Like Byron, for the most part, was playing unreal that day. Like some of the catches he was doing was crazy, and Durante too. Like I guess you guys weren't watching that series, but like
I saw Durante.
insane.
Yeah, he's good.
Like they came to play. They were there to play.
He caught me too.
So I guess you guys you win that. You're going to the finals now, right? Then you guys have your long sit. You guys have to sit for like 40 minutes almost, like a long time.
It seemed like a bunch of people had to play to get back up to that point.
Yeah.
Like 3 or 4 teams were still alive at that point
Toronto.
Yeah.
to have to play us again.
Yeah,
Spartans.
I think Spartans, Toronto, Banana, and Chris. Like they all had to play still.
And Joey was still alive.
Yeah.
At that point, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
We Spartans knocked us out.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. They took us 3 straight though.
Yeah, they moved everything onto one court. So yeah, it was a long time where we were just like,
Which was fine. I liked it.
That was great, yeah, because I was standing over in the corner, and that's like I got pinned over there, and then that's when they said like, okay, everything's gonna be over here now. Like, I'm not moving. This is the best spot in the house.
Best seat in
Oh,
the
that
house.
was that was so funny. We were like moving benches over to get some prime real estate, but no one wanted to move. It'd be like, oh, my bag's over there, my drink's over there, but no one wanted to go because they all wanted to keep their spot, right?
Yeah, like I said, I've never seen a crowd that big at our dodgeball events. Like usually at the end of tier 1, like usually there's 8 teams, and like all the lower teams finish at different times. Like there's just never that many people watching. But this was one case where it's like everyone's here for this tournament. So, you know, I guess something I should even mention now. Like, did you guys notice that? Like, you guys have never played in front of a crowd that big. Like, was it a factor at all? Was it a cool? Did you?
I think Decker and
I've
I
never
have-
played dodgeball in front of that many people.
Yeah,
but
like-
I've definitely played sports in front of.
Well, speaking of sports, okay, show me the ring again. So, what is that from?
It's a national championship ring for baseball.
National. And did you play for BC then, or like how does it break down?
Well, what happens is you play for like a team, like a club team, and you go to provincials. If you win provincials, you represent the province at the nationals. If you win the nationals, you represent the country at the world championships.
Okay.
So I was fortunate enough to do that twice in my baseball career
Wow.
growing up, and those were the glory days. Yeah. So this is a
Glory
little
days.
memento to remember it by, right?
Yeah. So you
I
said
would-
you were a catcher, right?
Yeah, I was a back catcher.
Does that come into dodgeball at all? Do you find like
I think it might help me a little bit.
because it seems like when you catch stuff, you're like, I don't care, throw it at me, like I'm fine. Like
Yeah,
I don't
I mean-
have that. I have like twitching. I'm all twitchy and like
There-
don't hurt me.
There's times and there's people who I'm like a little bit more hesitant when they're coming down
Yeah.
on me, but I feel like I'm pretty confident in the catching aspect of the game.
Jesus.
And I guess like it helps with the arm. I've had people tell me like it's a pretty quick release.
Yeah.
Like so like I don't bring it back really far. Like I don't have a big loopy windy.
No, yeah, you don't have a pitcher's wind up.
I could just
You don't have
like
a Mitchie wind
I
up.
can get rid of the ball pretty quick at almost as hard as I can if I do like
Yeah.
a full wind up type thing. So baseball's definitely where I get the inkling.
Okay,
for
that
the
makes more sense
dodgeball.
because when you first just showed up in SDL, it's like just some guy that was like wailing and like catching everything. Like I don't know who this guy is. So
I mean, I
Would've
played
helped to
like,
know.
I played a little bit of court sports like growing up, like
Mm-hmm.
in low grades of like grade 7, 8, 9
Yeah.
type thing. Like played some court sports, basketball or volleyball, but it wasn't really serious. But I guess having that awareness of the court is all right.
Yeah.
It helps. But yeah, I know baseball. It's all baseball. I think that
Yeah.
you're going to see a influx of baseball will take over the dodgeball.
No,
world.
I hope so. Just as I'm retiring, I want all the really good baseball guys to come in.
You're already seeing it, right? Like you see it slowly. I try and get as many friends of mine out to try it as I can because I tell them like you'll like it. Like we like the skills are easy to acquire based on what
Yeah.
we've done, like playing and practicing. Mm-hmm. And you can put those you can translate them to the game really quick.
Especially SDL. I think they would like SDL a lot.
Yeah, because you just gun,
Yeah.
right? Just
'Cause
go
it's-
grab a ball, gun it at someone, and
Yeah.
then if they're throwing it at you, try and catch it. That's basically the simplest terms, right?
Nice. Okay, I just wanted to get that out of the way because I think that's an interesting part of your backstory there.
Yeah, it's there's more to the story, but it's for a different conversation. If you really want to know, come find me personally. We'll talk about
I
it.
think I need to hear the rest of the story at some point. Okay, so there's I guess long break where Toronto was basically going in and turning the VDL up on its head. I felt like that was like another moment where like if you guys were like, no, SDL can't win, like we want the hometown guys to win. Like when Toronto came in there, I felt like the crowd was like 100% against Toronto is how it felt from especially in those videos too. Like they cannot win, they will not win.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that played a factor on the reffing too. Like I feel like it felt like in an MMA fight when everyone's cheering for one guy and like they might just start like I don't know, I can't call that a hit because the crowd will hate me. Like we're all volunteers too, so I can't expect the ultimate reffing in everything. But like yeah, I felt like in the end I feel like Toronto got maybe a bad representation, a bad rap in those last couple games. I know you guys weren't watching it, but I feel a little bad because they did come in and compete at the highest level with like the VDL's Golden Boys, which is it's unheard of. I feel like
Yeah, and let's call a spade a spade. Like, the Toronto team had 4 national players in their roster. So that's people who compete internationally in our sport. Different variation of dodgeball, but still, like, all of their skills and abilities translated to our game.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
They were incredible players. And it's interesting hearing that because just on a personal level, like, they're super cool with us. Like, we got along with them real well. Yeah, you could actually that series when that was going on, you could definitely tell even you can tell one team was liked and one was not.
Yeah.
Because if there was a big play made by one of the teams, it was a roar. It was a big play by the other team, it was a
Usos, yeah.
Like the air got sucked out of the building. It was too bad that happened. I think because the Toronto people were awesome. Like they're great. They're bringing it. They're pushing people. All those pump fakes.
Loved it.
I feel like
I'm a huge fan
yeah.
of that.
I feel like
I'm
it
a huge
works
fan
well.
of those.
Yeah, that's right.
I am a huge fan of those.
Well, did you play them? Did it work?
No,
Were they?
but I was watching closely.
They put Jay
I'm gonna
Vu to
try
shame.
to incorporate a little bit of that into my game for sure.
Love to see you try.
No, I love. I actually also really enjoyed watching because they brought a certain amount of competitiveness,
Yeah.
intensity too, and it's always fun to watch those type of things. That's why you like watching that like top 4, man. Every game was intense, and but they kind of brought that same intensity almost to every other game that they. It doesn't matter if it was round robin.
Yeah. They came with an intent. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. So I enjoyed watching them.
I think if you gave them one more week, say like a couple more nights
Yeah.
of playing with our rules,
Yes.
I think they would have been able to figure out some like strategies based on what their strengths are as a team.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd see them line up the 3 guys on the one side like they did. They had that weird opening way they did on the rush. I think that's maybe something that they do more in their normal style of their game, which they kind of they're used to. So I think they probably just did it that way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And of course they could have seen how other teams were doing it, but I just feel that they were probably like, nah, we're not changing. Let's just do what we're comfortable with type thing. But I think that they could have maybe spread their guns out a bit more because they had 3 dudes all over on one side. You know, if you run into a team like has 2 good arms on 5 and 6, well, they could arguably take out 2 of your good guys that are playing over on that side. And then, like, they just have to switch over and then get the other guy out. And, I mean, the only thing that added was that their one girl had an arm on her that was, like, better than some guys. So it's like, man, if she comes barreling up to the line on me, like, I'm running to the back wall, man. It's like, that was, like, harder than Boyer. And Boyer's got, like, one of the hardest girl guns around.
Yeah, I don't remember her name, but that was everyone mentioned that to me because I had to miss the round robin. That was the first thing I heard.
Watch out for the chick with the glasses because she's got a gun.
Duly noted.
Yeah, they were a great team.
She's a national team player, though.
She is. Yeah. There was.
So, do you guys know much about how would someone from out here get on that team?
Victor and Witten, I think Sonny actually went to the tryouts that happened in Toronto. And initially it was, there was an event here where they had people come out, you know, they evaluated, picked a team, which I think they combined with people from other leagues, and then sent them to Toronto. Well, they didn't send them. They went to Toronto and they competed, and they chose the national team from that group, pool of players.
So there's a tournament that you have to go to for them to see you.
But I think when they first, they came out here, there wasn't very many people that went out to that tryout, so it was like pretty much if you went to it, you pretty much made the team.
You got a chance to go to Toronto.
But
right?
I did talk to Peter, who ended up talking to, was it Lucas?
Lucas?
Yeah. And I was talking to Peter, and he was kind of telling me a little bit about their conversation. And, you know, Peter's words, Lucas was like salivating at the amount of skill that he didn't know existed over here on the BC coast, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool to hear because now he's like, there's going to be a lot more effort kind of put into maybe trying to get some of these players to come out because he didn't know. I mean, he coming in, imagine seeing last year's trial and then coming into this tournament and all of a sudden seeing like CV and the Petes and the Byrons and like all these players that you're like, oh crap, there's a lot of skill out here. So I know that for sure he was kind of salivating at the idea of being able to pick some of that stuff.
And the Terrences, right?
The Terrences, well, he's first. It's kind of next level. So I
Game 5?
Yeah, no, I think...
What a time.
What a time.
The international style is so slow that it's never been something that's been overly appealing to the players been kicking around for a while.
Yeah.
That might change. You know, speaking with Lucas, they have that draft tournament coming up July 9th down in Seattle, and he's considering having a wheel where they'll spin it, and they'll put in rules, and they wanted to kind of incorporate some of the rules that we use out here.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Which is, a huge sign of respect.
10-second ball count, things like that.
No resets, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was. It's very humbling that he immediately was, exuberant about, I've never been to someone I've never thought this would be here and all that kind of stuff. Pretty much everything he said to Peter. And having met Lucas down in Seattle, he's a pretty passionate guy.
He's a phenomenal player.
Yeah,
Catches, throws.
Was there also Lucas from Toronto as well? No, there was another guy from Toronto. The national player.
Oh, there's two.
Isn't he the executive of the national dodgeball team or something?
The guy with the tights.
No.
The guy with the tight suit.
I think he's
Canada?
the one that Peter was actually talking about.
Captain Canada.
Is that him?
I don't know.
That's who Peter was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Having, them coming out to the BC coast and
gotcha.
seeing the potential for these players to play maybe nationally as well. So actually, that's what I thought. That's what.
Oh, we took their team over, man.
You don't know. You play their rules, it might be a little different.
Well, I mean, to tie it back in with Lucas too, when we went down there to Seattle, that's what I thought. Wow, there's a lot of good players down here. And when I brought one of our foam balls down there, and I was just throwing it against the wall, and just having some of them be like, "Oh, is that a foam ball?" And they were throwing it with me, and just seeing how good they could throw it back at me, I'm like, oh, they just broke my worldview. I always thought that VDL's the capital of dodgeball, and then everything else is kind of like a settlement of dodgeball. But it's no, there's capitals of dodgeball everywhere. Dodgeball is it's absolutely everywhere now. Seeing Toronto as well, it's over there too. Oh, geez, there's just good players everywhere. So my worldview is a little skewed now. I used to think VDL is that's the highest echelon of dodgeball, and you can't get any higher than that. But even SDL taking the cup. It's all changed now.
We gotta change the order on the front of that thing.
Yeah,
eh?
I know. I was thinking that it might have been done before it started, but
All right. Well, speaking of the cup, I guess after 2 Chris, 1 Cup, or whatever their name is, they had to go through. The gauntlet of losers bracket. They're playing 3 games in a row before they, or 2 games in a row, and then playing you guys as their 3rd game in a row. That was, I don't know, is that who you guys expected to see in the finals?
I think kind of speaking about it earlier, we didn't care.
No?
Someone was going to be across the court from us, and that was just how it was going to be, and we'll play whoever's there. Probably before the tournament, we probably thought 2 Chris, 1 Cup was going to be there. That was the preemptive pick from all the panelists when we did the preview show, except for DeMello's Heart.
That's right.
DeMello's Heart was with us, which he messaged us about just before we actually came here. Hey guys, my heart picked you, and I was like, cool. But yeah, I was probably that was going to be the pick, and probably based on the people leaning towards VDL in terms of strength, it was probably going to be they thought bananas.
Yeah,
I thought it was probably in their eyes it was going to be a bananas 2 Chris final,
and they were the defending champs too,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
exactly
you only expect them to be there again.
Yeah, absolutely, and they hadn't lost a set, or they hadn't never lost a set in a tournament, in the playoff rounds. Prior to this time.
Wait, which team?
Bananas.
Bananas.
Yeah,
Wow.
they had won every tournament they had entered.
Do you think it would have been any different if they had Carolyn on the team?
That's a hard thing to say. Carolyn provides a different element to them, but I don't necessarily think Aminta or Carla were drawbacks.
No, I wouldn't think so.
I think that they even adjusted their style a little bit to accommodate how Carla and Aminta play.
Okay.
And Aminta is such a sweeping machine.
Yeah.
She
has hustle, man.
Oh yeah, in the same way that Jackie and Ada were keeping balls on our side, she is more than capable of doing the same for them. And considering that she was lined up beside Byron and Shane, those are 2 dangerous dudes that have a constant supply. But yeah, get back to the original point. No, we just on the day of it was whoever was next up. Mm-hmm. So,
well, I guess in the back of your mind, was there any teams you guys were worried about or that?
Yeah. Rugrats.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I was hoping for the love of us that we didn't have to play the Rugrats.
Did you play them in round robin?
No,
Was
we
it a
played them in the
scramble?
practice tournaments, and they
killed
beat us every time.
Every time.
Every time, beat us every time.
Rugrats was
Langley.
Cody, the
Oh,
Langley
Dayton's team,
team.
okay.
Yeah.
Cody
yeah.
V,
Really?
Cody
It was
Burke,
just
Dayton.
they just didn't give a fuck who we were, right? So they just
and they know you too, so
they know us, so they're just
extra
they know
insulting.
what they have to do to beat us, right? So they just would come and they just gun until
Yeah.
they pick us all off, and then that was it, right?
Yeah.
And they throw hard, right? So
Yeah, they do.
if you got 2 or 3 of them throwing hard at you at once, it's can only pull those catches
Yeah.
off so much, right?
For me, it was all the Surrey teams.
Yeah?
I didn't want to play any of the Surrey teams. Recess, they gave us a hard time in the round robins.
Really?
Yeah, we were lucky not to have to play recess
Recess.
again.
Did they play VDL style against you guys? Was it
I don't know.
slow?
We
and...
tried to play the run and gun against them.
We
right?
tried a couple different things against them, and we just really couldn't seem to.
Huh.
They pulled off big, solid plays,
Wow.
all-star type plays, catches.
Yeah, they must have burned out. Watching their series with Weaklings, the Seattle team, it just seemed like they were not a championship team. They didn't have the timing or the pacing.
They were hungover.
That's explaining more now.
I was talking to Michael on Weaklings actually during their game, and he was pointing at King Bob, Rob Sheen.
Yeah.
It's last night he told me he's the hangover king of dodgeball. And he looked at Rob and it was immediately he looks hungover. But they also play like that all the time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't.
Well, they're getting older.
unexpected.
You hit your 30s, you can't do that no more.
It's true. Rob turned 30 today.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Rob.
And Chris, happy birthday,
Happy
Chris.
Yeah. There's a lot of birthdays today.
Yeah, no
It's
kidding.
D-Bell today, and then Rob.
Robin Seabell were yesterday, and C-Val was today. Yeah. So a lot of birthdays.
Yeah.
Bunch of
A lot
B-Day
of
boys.
birthdays. Yeah. All the messages on Facebook.
All right, so back to that series there. I mean, you guys made pretty short work of it in 3 games. Front door. That's putting a stamp on it. The one thing I remember, or since you guys played them once already, one thing I wanted to know is, do you guys have any change in game plan? Was there anything you guys were like, last time we did this, we should try this, or vice versa? Did they do anything different against you guys that you noticed?
They, on my side at least, Sam Coe played a little bit more aggressively on the opening rush.
Oh, okay.
But I just hit him. So yeah, it was one of those things where like he was trying to create space for Chris Tung, and like on that first game, I hit Sam, avoided Chris, and you guys hit C-Val on the opening.
I think in the first rounds, I think Chris was going for Kevin on the rush.
Okay.
But then I think after we beat them, I think he changed to go for me off the rush. So I was happy with the trade with Chris. So off the rush, I was just going to go for a trade regardless.
Okay.
I was going to go for Chris with my ball.
Yeah.
And if he came at me with his, then I guess we'll deal with that. If he didn't, then maybe I'd get to be safe, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and that was it. Like that first game, I think you were off, but we also had Sam and Chris Valance off.
Yeah.
And we had possession.
You had a trade with Chris.
I traded with Chris, yeah.
And we moved through the line at that point.
Yeah, you guys were making the hits. Like there wasn't a lot of like wasted time.
Yeah.
So game 2, the only thing I remember from game 2 was Pete. You had 2 laser shots, like just 2 heaters right here both times, and they were just I can't remember. It was Trong and Tiana.
Yeah.
They were both like they both crouched, but they were both like high chest and like they're catchable. But you were throwing the heat. They just didn't close in time.
Big thump.
Yeah, my thing was just to challenge
Fa-boom.
people at that point, right? Like,
Fa-boom.
I had the energy and the I guess the what's the word for it? And
The adrenaline.
the adrenaline pumping.
The will
it's
to
just
win.
Like, I'm gonna just give her, right?
Yeah.
Like I ran into it the day before when I came up against Yams one-on-one like that, and put it right in her box. But I just know, just because I know Yams, is that I probably didn't give it all I had, and I just had to remind myself, like, just give it all you have here, man. Like don't let up at the last minute,
Yeah.
or don't flutter it into
It's a great way to put it.
Just give it all you have at this point. Like if you hit this person square in the nose, then who cares at this point?
Well, if they're crouching and it's the finals, that's the one time where it's like everyone knows what's going on here.
Yeah, I'm gonna grip and throw this as hard as I can.
But that's the thing too. You didn't hit them. You hit them like high chest
They're-
while they're crouching. Those are catchable balls. That was like as pure like pitcher batter sort of
Yeah, like, I'll
combination.
challenge
just beat
you.
them.
If
Yeah.
you can catch it, then you can catch it. I'll give you a chance too. And then
But those were some screaming hot throws, man. That's why I said like I don't know how you managed to grip the ball still. Like those were the throws you want.
they felt good.
That was one
Yeah,
goal.
I was like, I've been watching Hauser back there the entire time, just play around with things.
I think they were probably about 40, a
40.
good 40. Terrence says.
Yeah. Terrence is the expert. Yeah, by eye is about 40.
You could just tell by the way the thump was probably about 40, 45.
I actually enjoyed remembering there were times where you would get a ball and you're maybe throwing with Kevin or someone else, and there was a lack of expression in your face where there was no like anger or like amped up. It was just like you're almost like as if you were high. And your face is just
really?
dead. It was like deadpan, and all you said, and I heard it a number of times, you were just saying, "Let's go," and then you go and throw together. But there was, I would expect in that moment there to be like, a lot more animation or like excitement or something like that. But you were super calm, which I think helped at the end, because there was a moment, I think maybe it was game 3, where it was you and Kevin both had balls. You were throwing on one person, and you stopped. And you kind of like decide,
Usually
okay, let's
it's
talk.
Kevin that's telling you.
Usually
to-
it's Kevin
Yeah.
that's being that
Yeah.
guy, right?
But
Yeah.
in that moment, I thought it was kind of cool because everything kind of slowed down for you, right? In that moment, it's hard to bring yourself down and kind of calm yourself and then play.
Yeah,
Right?
well, you don't want to like get all so caught up and then throw that catch.
Well, that's exactly
Let
it.
yourself think about it for a second,
That's exactly it. I think you guys, that was like a
deep
really
breath,
cool thing to see.
and then okay, now we'll go,
Yeah.
right? Like, now we'll do this, and then give yourself a better chance to do what you want to do, and not be like, we should have thought about it, man. We had a whole 10 seconds, right? Like,
And we actually have a viewer question from Cody Burke of Surrey, British Columbia.
viewer question.
A viewer question,
Wow,
yeah.
When did this come?
Came in through Facebook.
Oh, wow.
And he wants to know just how important was that calmness for you during the playoffs?
Well, for those that do know me, getting
That's why he said it was so cool to see. Man.
It was the evolution. Yeah.
getting riled up is one of my
Sign of
strong
maturity.
points. But no, like I think what it is for me is like not to put anything against the tournament that it was, but but I've played a lot of important sports before, big games and stuff like that. I just know how to channel that energy. Like, there's so much excitement in that gym. Everybody wants an outcome on either side the way they want it, but, you know, only people in control of that game is the people on the court. So you have to, you have to channel that, right? You have to actually control that court. But I just think the fact that, being confident in the fact that the people that I'm playing with have this under control as well. I felt like I was the most wild guy. Like, I was the one that needed to be tamed up the most. But in that situation, I was the guy to bring it in at that time. Like, you know.
Well, seeing you do it, like Joey said, like, that was it. Like, it was like 10 times more calming. Like, oh, Pete's got it under control? All right, well, they got it under control right now. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say I've come a little bit of a way in my dodgeball game, right?
What was it I told you in the parking lot that one time? You could be one of the best as long as you don't take yourself out.
Right, and stay humble.
Stay humble.
Matt Kramer.
The Godfather.
Be humble. The Godfather, ladies and gentlemen.
So, okay.
And was it just kind of backtrack a little bit before that series started? Like, how cool is it, the competing chants between the leagues?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, we all had just stepped onto the court, hadn't even
yeah.
started talking to each other, and then an STL chant starts, and then a VDL chant starts, and then a boss chant starts.
I think at when the boss one started, everyone was going or chanting
and then the refs chant.
Cool.
Yeah.
The refs chant.
Yeah.
refs. That's I was cheering for the refs. I don't know about you guys. I was cheering for the refs.
We were actually cheering for Rob mostly. It was like, Rob.
And yeah, it's something I actually want to acknowledge. Rob Shee was a phenomenal referee.
Yeah.
And not only was he just good at reffing, but he was good at controlling the dictation of the rules in such a way that it didn't interfere with the pace of the game.
Yeah, there was no there was a lot of stops, but they were stops that I think people on the court wanted. Like, yes, figure this out. Like, figure this out right now. It wasn't a lot of stuff where everyone's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It felt like good pace. Like, I've seen VDL playoffs just derailed by reffing and just not to throw the refs under the bus, but when you don't know how to handle certain complicated situations. Like, I've seen it derail and it sort of ruins it for everyone, but this tournament felt super smooth. I felt like outside of maybe Toronto and Banana, I felt like every one of those clutch series was smooth sailing.
Very much so. Yeah, it was hats off to them. They stepped up, they did a good job. Whenever there was a call that needed to be explained, they explained it, and they explained it well. And they wanted to make sure, they also wanted to ensure that the players knew what the call was and what it meant and why that was the case. So for us, we're like, if a call went against us, okay, cool. We knew why it was, where it was coming from, and he just rolled with it.
Yeah. The corner refs were good too. I was standing right by Brandon. He was doing corner reffing at that back corner, and that was some of the best corner reffing I've ever seen. He just knew what the call was. I'm not a good ref apparently because I'm too busy watching the mechanics of people playing. That was a good throw, that was a good catch, but I'm not where'd the ball go, who threw it, and why did it get, I'm not following that. But the refs were really on point with putting the game back together after it was stopped and stuff too.
And that last moment when Decker and Vo are lining up Tiana. If you look over the sidelines, I think it's Cody and Jerry start jumping up and down, just because they're excited about what could happen.
That game, as that game was going, Dayton and I were standing in the back corner, and Jay Vu was standing in front of us. And Brandon had already told us you guys have to stop screaming because it's hurting my ear. And eventually he just went like this, so so that we kept screaming, we couldn't stop. But as we were going, we were put that. The game's not over yet, but we smell the blood already, and we're pushing Javu out of the way, and you can see in the video out of the way. And he's like, "I'm just gonna get out of the way, guys." So, okay, that last moment, you two are lining up. I've been there, and I know when you there's a girl left, it's the last girl left. I've been there, and I know that in my case at that moment, I lost my confidence, and I was like, I don't know what to do. This girl, it was Carolyn, and she has a history of catching me out, so I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to get caught out. That was all I could think. She ended up throwing her ball away, and a girl on our team ended up catching it, winning the game. So, none of the guys even threw at that point. But, how did you guys, what were you thinking that last throw?
Did you even know Tiana at that point?
No, I've never played against her before this weekend, so that probably helped with the no fear on my point. I can't speak for Kevin, but I know Kevin's a confident player, and I know that when he's standing beside me that we really are confident throwing together, right? And that's all I think it was. It was just getting on the right timing with each other. I think that's all it was. That's why I wanted to stop him for a second and just That way we could get on the same track. That way, like, you know, I don't want my ball to go in, his to come in after, and she just totally tracks his, or vice versa, tracks mine, and then now we got CV back on the court or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But on the other hand, just blow it. I'm just gonna blow it at her, right? Like, there's no secret to it, right? Like, we're playing dodgeball here. The point is to hit the person and have them not catch the ball. So here it comes, right? Like, and that's, I'm sure, what Vo was thinking too. Like, here it comes. If you can catch it, by all means. But you're gonna have to catch 2, and they're coming hard, and we want to win. And you know, this is it. I don't want to play you guys any more times, because you guys are good.
Yeah.
You guys might beat us 3 times in a row after this. So let's take our 3 wins in a row right now.
Let's 3 and go home.
Run with this trophy right out the door, right?
We did.
Yeah, I guess as we're here at the conclusion of the series, I also have to point out that Vo played a hell of a tournament as well. Like, he stayed alive and he made catches and he made hits. Like, he was really a rock on the court there.
Yeah, I was telling him, like, I haven't actually, and we were kind of commenting on side as well. We haven't seen him play that well in a really long time. Like, he played
unless it's netball for fun in SDL, like.
No, but he was staying alive, which is his biggest thing. You guys know in your huddles, right? Like, he's always preaching, just stay alive, stay alive. He was staying alive. He made a couple of key clutch catches. So he played awesome. Phenomenal.
Yeah, he kept on looking at me in the huddles, like, we need to stay alive. And I was like, I am staying alive.
I need to stay alive.
But yeah, no, it was great. Like, Vo was a fantastic court general for us. He said exactly what we needed to hear, in each huddle. It was never too big. It was never over the top. It was concise and to the point. Probably the way that he communicates within the SDL executive. This is what we need to do. Let's go do it. And that's what we did. We followed through with whatever instruction he gave us. And it was great. It was like Kevin and I have played against each other for years. This is the first time, a minute to win it was the first time that we'd ever played together in 9 years. So it was incredible, and like we have a good chemistry and a good camaraderie on the court, and I think that kind of goes across the board. Like, you have to choose 2 people. Like, Pete and T have a great camaraderie, a great partnership on the court. Ada and Jackie play really well. Jackie plays really well with Pete. Ada plays really well with Vo. There was just those little bonds, but everyone kind of had that kind of connection with each other. Like, Decker and I, whenever we're together, we're good. Decker pushes it, and I just kind of cover him and hit people as they're not paying attention. But that's just kind of it. Like, we could have moved people around all day long based on what based on what Vo wanted us to do, and we would have still been as successful.
Yeah, like I said, it's like I said in that last podcast. Like, when we played you guys in the first warm-up tournament, you looked, quote, razor sharp, and like that, I felt it. Like, these guys, I like their chances. Like, this is a razor sharp lineup. So there you guys go. You end up taking the championship. Did you guys notice how many SDL people piled on in that cheer at the end when you guys were like? And by the way, love when a tournament ends where you get to cheer. Like, I've seen a lot of VDL tournaments end with like a, what happened? Like, and then like ref stop, talk about it, and then they say, oh, you won. It's totally lame, but like that was definitive. And like,
moment,
people were losing their mind.
Yeah, you see a lot of dead finales as well, where it ends and then people just kind of walk away.
Yeah, especially when the winners win 3 in a row, it's usually not very exciting, like the winners bracket. But like that was so exciting because you guys were not destined to win that by so many standards, like so many people's like expectations. Like, of course they can't win this. This is CV and CT. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, it's
David versus Goliath, right?
From their perspective, yeah, that's what it looked like. But we knew better. We've seen it. Like I said, we've been training in the crucible of like Dodgeball, the Forges, like for a year. Like, I know what you guys are capable of. I've seen it, and that's the thing too with Vo. I've seen him play so good in SDL, and then like 3 years ago, like just after SDL started, I saw him play super well because like he's like the man there, right? He's the guy. He plays so well. Then I'd seen him play at VDL, and like he was sitting off, like he wasn't even playing. Like, he didn't have that confidence. But like, this was Vo playing SDL Vo. Like, this is his final form. Like, this is maximum Vo. It's just
just Vo in the corner going Vo over and over again.
He's one of the best players out there.
Yeah, for real. Like when he's on,
he doesn't. He's gonna hate me for saying this because he hates it when people talk about how good he is. But he's good, man. He's a really good player. Like, there's a lot of things that he's taught me even to get me to this point. Like, I've played with him a lot now, and he's always got something to tell me or teach me or help me with my game. And I know it's like that for everybody. And it doesn't matter what style of player they are.
Yeah.
He has hint for all of them because he's seen it all, right? He's seen it all. He's been in all the leagues. He
for a
knows
long
how
time.
everybody plays. He knows what it takes to win. And that's huge. That was huge. And Kyle too. Kyle's veteran experience and knowing all the opposition as well is huge. Like Kyle just telling me like a quick thing, like, oh yeah, that guy.
Oh, he opened up the Rolodex.
Yeah,
Rolodex.
that guy. Watch for that. Okay, right, and then give me the ball, right, and I'll go. Like, or Kyle, or I just say, Kyle, who do you want me to kill? And he'll just tell me which guy to get. Okay, here we go, right? And I don't know these guys from a hole in the wall. So, like, when he tells me to kill that guy, I'm going to go kill that guy, right? And
I think that's a good point about Vo, about him, like, having player development as a really good big theme.
Here you go.
Because, well, no, I'm saying because he's at the top of SDL. He runs SDL, and then even the people below him, like DeMello and Peter, who run Tuesday and Thursday nights, they're huge into player development. And then we talked about earlier as well, and you guys talked about last podcast a little bit. There's a hunger, and then there's also a need for player development for a league like SDL to kind of come up top on ToC. So it's a huge thing for Vo to have that mentality, and then it kind of just passes on not only to the directors, but also to the execs as well.
And the players.
And the
right?
players,
You've
yeah.
even got players that want their teammates to be better.
Yeah.
Right?
Every summer, Vote takes on like so and so on call. You know,
There's
up
players,
and comers.
Yeah, there's players right now that we have in our different chats where we kind of talk about, hey guys, there's this guy who, I won't mention names, but there's this guy who's he playing with next season? You know, can someone take him on? Like, let's show him about this and that. Who's this guy playing with? And like, everyone kind of takes in someone to kind of develop that person.
Yeah, get him on that tier 1 team, and then like that's it. One season in,
Yeah.
they're
One guy, I mean, I will call one guy, Brandon.
Yeah.
He has, he's going to be playing with us on Tuesday nights now.
You lucky
me,
buggers.
Peter, Nick Simon, Donna Ada.
Is that
maybe
Gunner?
Drew.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's going to be
Gunner.
our gunner. But the thing is, like, he is a player that can be awesome. And that's part of SDL, where we kind of take in players that have that potential and kind of just help them develop into something like a Decker.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a Decker. We got the mold over here.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
No,
That's-
no. Yeah, no, it's something that like I noticed right away in SDL is that they're not just sticking with friends.
Yeah, that
But-
was really early on too. Teams
Yeah.
mingled all around.
Like,
Well,
they're-
it's not like you see the talent and you go, oh, this guy's good. Like, it's like, yeah, this guy's good. Get him out again. Right? Like,
Yeah.
like, I hope this guy's here next week. Not like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, there was some really good guys that came and kicked my ass at Dodgeball the other night. Like, no, it was like, oh, there was some good guys there and we had some seriously good games. I can't wait to play against those guys again.
Yeah, nobody's on a pedestal in SDL.
No.
There's a recognition of talent and there's a willingness to go after it. You look at, Judy, who we haven't talked about. Judy was incredible this year. She wasn't, once again, another player that wasn't at the tournament, but you look at her, like she's another example of someone that has come a really long way in a short amount of time. But yeah, like it's just SDL is all about getting better. Even for me, like I've played for 10 years. Like I haven't felt this level of hunger and motivation and anxiousness to be better, to get better in a very long time. Like last year, Vo challenged me. He was like, "You need to play with a little bit more urgency." And I'm like, "All right."
That's good that you did that.
Thanks.
You know, that's what I remember. I've been playing against you for like 7 years, and it was always like, oh, there's always head games with Kyle. He's not going to play his hardest. But I noticed this last year, like I've got like legit Kyle every time I play against you, and I've been getting hit up by you a lot as a result, which is good to see because like legit Kyle. Another thing, like this tournament too, you had a great tournament as well, and the foot shots on point, but the catching too, like. On like 2-on-1s, making big catches. I think it was Spartans, like the
Game
bringing
4,
down
yeah.
huge catch.
Yeah, and actually on that play too, of note, Ada crosses Brandon.
That's right. What a
Doesn't
play.
Brandon cross the center line or something like that?
A bit
think
of
that
both.
was out of
It was a bit of
exasperation,
both.
yeah.
It's like, and that's just it. Like in that moment, we go from having almost no possession to like actually it was down to it was 2 of us versus 3 of the guys on Spartan. Actually, 4 of the guys on Spartan. We had just gotten Rogan out. And the catch happens. Ada makes a cross. You come back in, just flying, and it's just Nick by himself. And I see you grab a ball, and you're like looking for a ball. I'm like, all right, we got it. And then we just lined him up and we hit him. It was great. It was just it. Like it was fantastic tournament. I could not have left it happier. And going back to what you initially asked, that would led us down this path. No, I didn't realize how many people were actually on the court
No?
when we won. I had no idea. I was just right.
Yeah, I tried to hug you, but you were like a man possessed. Like you were like pointing at the corners too. Like I don't know.
I was trying to find somebody to hug.
Who
Like,
did you hug first? Because I actually watched it today.
Yeah.
And you went straight to the side like you hugged someone.
It was Mario. He was the first person I recognized. I was like, SDL. And I was running over and hugged him. Turned around. I think I hugged Peter next. I almost tackled Peter. And then I hugged Donna, Brenna, and Nadia all at the same time. And then I turned around and hugged somebody. Oh, and then I had to go through the chair because I hadn't done any of the high fives at that point. And like you see in the video, C-Val waits for a few seconds, and then he goes like this and walks away. Like gives me like the air high five. It just kind of goes. And I caught them when I went through the line afterwards. But yeah, no, I just it was huge. It was. I haven't been that happy at Dodgeball in an extremely long time, and it was just a fantastic moment to win with a group of people that I truly enjoy sharing the court with. So yeah, it was good.
I know my first hug was T.
Yeah.
I hunted T down. I was like,
I remember having to try and get through all the other people who weren't my teammates to try and find my teammates. Right? Like I'm like, yeah, where's my guys? Like, where's T? Where's Kyle? Where's Vo? It's like, oh, hey Joey, hey Peter. Like, you guys aren't on my fucking team. Like, what's going on? I'm looking for my teammates.
Kyle's 3 courts over hugging like
but
the
then
janitor.
you shortly realize like that this is my team, right? Like, and
That's
that was the beauty of it too, is that these guys all were here fighting with me and rooting with us for that goal, right? It didn't matter which one of our teams took it. If one of our teams took it, it was a win. And so that was what was huge.
Yeah, Demel mentioned in our captain's chat from the previous summer league, you know, we're kind of like a family. There's going to be times where we yell, we swear, we say mean things about each other, but at the end of the day, we all have each other's back. You know, and when it matters most, we stand shoulder to shoulder. Yeah. You know, and that was great.
We got it.
SDL,
baby.
The story of that tournament, it's a really fun one. Just to even relive that, it played out so well, and like I give full props to like all the other teams. Like people were playing so well that day. Like that was the finest example of dodgeball I've seen. Like on paper, that's exactly what it should have been. Like all these great teams, like throw them together, and like you saw great dodgeball. It wasn't like a bunch of disappointments. I mean, sure, like Recess and other teams, like they didn't pull together, but I don't know if they're hungover. What can they do? Those quarterfinals on basically like from both brackets was like just phenomenal dodgeball. And Durante, like some of his plays on some of those series, like just to make catches in those, and you guys were doing it too, like to make catches at that high of a level, like in that clutch, you know.
Big T, baby.
Big T gave 5. Oh man, yeah. So I mean, we've run through the whole tournament. I don't know. I guess the next thing to do is maybe just break down how we think the leagues fared, just as a overall thing, because we can't go through every team. It'd take forever again. Let's start with the king of the castle here. How do you think SDL did? Aside from winning.
But yeah, like the goal for the league was 2 top 8 teams. I think going into this, there's 2 top 6 teams. There's actually I think 3 top 10 teams, including you guys.
Beaten out by these guys.
You know, and
Did you
then
guys make top 10?
I don't know. I don't know.
there's one of the teams that did.
Okay.
They're tied for 10th. I think. Yeah, but you know, then you think Langley, the Rugrats, they were right there as well. They're just I think they were top 14. You know, and Sugar's team too. Two Guys Brown Sugar had a tough draw, and they gave both of the teams that they played hell. You know, it was just incredible. I think SDL did well. I think not only did we do well, but we did well in a way that we're not satisfied. You know, like there's still a lot of hunger there. Like kind of going back to that initial point.
I've only had 25.
No, keep going. Don't leave it for me. God damn it.
You know, we're yeah, it's good. You know,
The viewers are going to be disappointed if I don't have an ice cream sandwich.
That's true.
Oh.
I think if the over-under was 7. The over-under was 7. But yeah, like put it this way, like Joey, for instance, you wanted to win, right?
Yeah, of course.
So next year, no matter what team you're on, you want to win. So even though there's that competition with the other leagues and the teams in the other leagues, there's still the internal competition.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's still that congratulations, we'll see you next time around.
Yeah.
Wow, those are
You
good.
Yeah, Leanne got these.
Legit one.
You having one? You
Once again,
having one,
props to
boy?
Leanne on
Hell
the
yeah, I'm having
snaps.
one.
All right.
I might have 2.
All right, who's in?
I'll
Who's
have
in?
one. I'll have one.
All right.
Big T. Thank you.
I'm lactose intolerant. So
Oh, we
So he'll have 2.
We don't need an accent.
we don't
We don't need an
we don't
accent.
mess with that stuff.
He's also afraid of water, just to let you know. So-
What? You're afraid of water?
Yes, sir.
In what sense? Like drinking or?
No.
No, like
Oh, yeah.
Bodies of water.
Okay, I can
Yeah,
respect
man.
that. I'm
Yeah,
afraid of
man.
open water too.
Hey, Decker,
what?
you're gonna get it all over your hands, man.
So I'll lick my hands. What do you
You've
think?
never
this is?
eaten one
Yeah.
before or something.
Well, Cody Burke actually wants to be on one of these podcasts with an ice cream sandwich with it all over his face. So, and I believe Decker's response to that was keep practicing.
Well, yeah.
I think, to answer your question, Kramer, I think SDL, as far as how we fared,
move that
yeah,
away
our
from the
goal
mic.
was definitely like to have 2 top 10, I think, right?
Yeah.
But for us to have 3 top 10 is pretty awesome. And for us to kind of also, like for my team specifically, like I really don't think anyone thought we were going to do very well, especially after round 1.
Round robin, yeah.
All right, Kyle, you can say that now, but
I say a lot of
It's
things.
20%.
Expected to win. No.
yeah. But even in your guys' predictions, I know Mello said, yeah, minute to minute is in my heart to win, but we weren't predicted to win. SCL is not predicted to win, and that kind of is a true underdog story, right? So that's what I really like about the fact that we were able to win and do so well in the tournament. Just being underdogs, pretty awesome.
Well, I think SDL had, from their, say, I wouldn't call any team a top team or a bottom team, but let's just say through all of their teams, I think the talent was spread most evenly through SDL. I think there's a lot of talent going through all those teams, whereas like there's no team that you can really roll on. All the skill is way up there. Like when I play my nights of the week at Dodgeball in Surrey, I find the competition is very adequate. Like there's like I'm not worried like, oh, like I'm gonna go and have like a shitty time because it's just gonna be dominating people. Like, no, it's not like that in SDL. Like you're going out and you're playing some Dodgeball, man. Like night after night, and I think that's what helps everybody get to that level and to be able to play and pull off those plays, right? Like there's no way you can pull off those plays if you're not making those plays during the week when you're, you know what I mean, just doing your nightly Dodgeball.
Yeah. Good way to
And
put
I
it.
think that's huge. Like I've played in other leagues. Like I'm not here to dumb down any other leagues, but you don't find that competition in CDL unless it's playoff time. I can't speak for the VDL because I've never played out there, but from what I see, I mean, I don't see much of a difference between the top dogs in VDL as I do from the top dogs in SDL.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of the similar skills. I just find that these VDL guys have been doing it for so much longer that they're much more consistent, right? That's where the big difference comes.
Yeah.
Is the consistency in which they do these plays. You can make the play, you can make the play, you can make the play, we can all make the play, but how many times out of 10 can you make that play? That's the difference where I see their game. Their game is just so much more groomed in the fact that they've seen all these things. They've done all these plays. The girls, they drop at the right time. They, like all the little technical things.
You're talking about VDL, right?
Yeah. Whereas opposed to the SDL is still kind of learning all these things, or it's not like the back of the hand to us yet. Some guys make it look easier than others, of course, and then there's some people that have all the, the experience that you can tell that they've been doing it.
That's the thing I notice whenever I play VDL, which has been a while actually since I have, but like you'll walk into a gym and you're like, oh, I'm playing like Byron's team tonight, sweet, and then you get there and it's like, oh, Byron's not here tonight. It's like, well, damn it, I kind of wanted to like test myself against Byron,
right?
Because like they're game and they'll play against you, but like I noticed a lot of times it was playing like the same people from VDL who are like the people that come every week, because I'm not like I expect everyone has to come all the time, but I notice in SDL everyone comes all the time. Like there's just people there all the time.
Religious.
And it is. It's very serious. The thing is like SDL, they're trying to kill you, but they'll like have a drink with you after. Like it seems like the competition is there, and then like you guys are still friends or something. Like you can have both. You don't have to like, oh, well, they're friends, so I can't like try and murder them on the court. Like, no, you can totally do that. Like, whenever I always feel bad whenever you throw a high one at me and I block it. You're like, sorry, man. No, it's all right.
Do it again.
I'm like the guy. Like, please, like, don't worry.
I let Pete
Just to
hit
let
me
you
in the
know,
head one time.
he doesn't say sorry to everybody, so you're special.
Yeah,
Well,
you're You're in the good books.
Whatever. You're not on the list, I guess.
All right, boys, I got to change. All right, well, I mean, we've been talking. How do you guys think the VDL did as a whole? I mean, a lot of teams, I think, had trouble with some of the teams they weren't familiar with, such as the Seattle team or you guys. But yeah, you guys probably saw more than I did throughout the course of the day. You see anything that caught you off guard or surprised you about the VDL's performance?
I think there are VDL teams that were caught off guard by the skill level from the other leagues, and some of them didn't wake up in time in order to avoid, leaving the tournament earlier than what they may have thought going into. And you said across the board, that said, the other side of it, teams 2 through 4 were VDL.
Yeah.
So there was I think a wide gap between the better teams and the less strong teams. That's my polite way of putting it.
A fair way to put it.
How many teams did VDL have in the
Like
competitive side?
8 or 9.
8?
Yeah.
Were they put together by execs, or
No.
it was just sign up?
There were a couple that got bumped from the open to
Yeah. They didn't do what the other leagues did, where they, it was decided by an executive team. It was, hey, register your team. And I think Trong's post back when it first went up was, if we have more teams than we think, we'll host a tournament. And that didn't happen because there were so many teams that dropped out that they never had to. Because Tyson's team was initially going to be in the open division because they didn't sign up in time for the competitive. And then because teams dropped, they are moved into the competitive. So,
the way I like picturing it, and this is just kind of shitty, but the Rocky 3 training montage where Rocky's he's living the famous life now, and he's training with the bubbles coming from the ceiling, and it's a big publicity thing. But you got Clubber Lang sitting there in this basement doing pull-ups and grunting the whole time. I feel like the other leagues were kind of like that. They were hungry. They wanted to take it. And it's the VDL, they played for so long. They've been doing it for so long. I don't expect you to you have to be like this all the time, but that's just how it kind of felt. When you see a team like Seattle come in and beat Recess, I just can't help but picture maybe they were underprepared for the talent level elsewhere. When we went down to Seattle, I realized really quickly, shit, there's huge communities of dodgeball elsewhere that are all, there's monsters here just like we have monsters where we play. And, I wonder if that had a factor at all. Or at the very least, you guys aren't playing VDL pace. You're supposed to wait a bit before you throw. You're not supposed to throw right away. You're not supposed to crisscross all over the court.
I think, what you mentioned there is that there's some evolution of dodgeball going on, right?
I wonder, yeah.
And, it's not fair to just play in these ways of how it has been going. There's so many ways to play the game. There's no right or wrong way in reality to play dodgeball. There's rules that you play within, but nobody says you got to line up or set up or do whatever you do the way that we do it, or wait or anything like that. Wait, what does that mean, right? What does waiting mean?
What?
Decker doesn't wait.
I heard you yell wait a couple times.
Yeah, I did. I was yelling at the girls actually to wait for me. I got caught back in by Jackie there, and then we had one person to get off the court, and I really wanted that kill. Wait, and I think it was it was Jackie went up and baited the catch, so she actually finished the game with a catch. And I was it doesn't matter then. Good job, yeah.
I think I've even heard on rare occasion please wait.
Yeah, please wait.
Not this tournament, but I've heard other times with you. All right, do you think that with this win, and even the Toronto battles that they had, do you think people that play the VDL style exclusively, do you think that there's just going to be a natural sort of experimentation phase where they sort of come out of the shell a little bit?
Yes and no. I think the bigger issue in VDL is stagnation in terms of their upper ranks. It's always been the same people for the most part. You see one or two people kind of coming up through every so often, but they don't really open themselves out to playing with somebody new unless that person is through the roof.
Right.
And you look at STL, like we mentioned earlier, there's lots of turnover. Even for us, Minute 20, we've talked a little bit about coming back for next year's ToC. At the same time, I also think that we have to be open to what is the best combination of teams and players going into the next time around. It'd be fantastic to do minute and win, but it's also a little bit selfish. And if we're putting the league first and the goals of the league, we have to be open to that. And I think VDL needs to be a little more mindful of who they're picking on their teams and try to identify who's going to be that next group coming up.
Yeah,
I think you're going to see the VDL stack up for next ToC.
You think like they're going to be like, all right, Banana and
It's-
Two Chris, why don't we just combine? We get
gonna-
Byron on the
It's
team.
going to be Byron, CV, Victor, and CT.
They might as well. Like they might as well.
That's like a scary line.
Yeah.
They've done it before. It's not the first time they've been on the same team, and they've come close to losing. Like it's not infallible, but yeah, they've done that on like league nights.
I think they'll do it because they'll want to take it back, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, Kyle, Deck, Bo, like Terrence, you guys have had fun. Jackie, Ada, like you can't be living in this limelight anymore.
Give us
Like,
that trophy
give us
back.
that trophy back.
I hope so, man.
And
want that.
I hope so too. I hope the battle is like that. Like I hope it creates something like that where it's like, no, you give it back. No, we want it back, right?
And
Like
with that as well, like if Toronto actually like puts together like a legit team, because I think this wasn't a team that plays together all the time. Because I was talking to Mark, Captain Canada.
Captain
like
Canada.
he's up open to like getting more like of the top players to come out. Like if that's what they did with like the lineup of people that were able to come out, like if they could put a couple teams together that are like that, like it's anyone's game at that point, because there was some high level dodgeball being played.
yeah, don't count out Boss too.
Yeah, I was about to say,
I didn't see enough of them.
They're
But
gonna
like I keep hearing
they're
the
gonna keep
best
bringing
stuff.
it, man.
They're
gonna,
young.
They've
Are they?
got
That helps.
Stupidly
they've
young.
got
No
like
Advil for them.
a different. They got a different attitude about playing, right? Like
Yeah.
they want to just give her, right? Like
The fact that they were chanting "boss" all throughout the tournament too, like I like that because it's really antagonistic. Like to go somewhere else, like VDL especially, it's kind of like a friends club, but to go in there and start chanting "boss," like that's pretty badass. Like it's funny because it'll rile them up. It'll rile the
Boss
locals
plays
up.
4 times a week now as well.
2.
Two times a week.
Yeah, they have 2 competitive nights and I think a recreational night. I don't know if the recreational night's on the same night as one of their competitive nights. But yeah, no, they only have 2 nights at this point. And all those guys are like guys and girls, are incredibly hungry for dodgeball, to play dodgeball. I look at Nigel. Actually, no, sorry. I'll use Nigel and Dale as examples. Nigel has improved a ton, but Dale is so much better than what he was last year. He's through the roof. Like last year, like mind you, Dale had a rough Sunday last time around, but like he's on the court and the way he moves, the way he holds himself, his posture, his body language is so different from what it was last year, and that's across the board for all of them. To an extent, we've made the comparison between Boston and STL. There is no fear in their game. They just have more smiles than we do. So
Yeah, we have more grimaces, and like
we have more
and
like
booms.
more babooms and more stern looks.
I find their girls really understood their roles.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like there was like nothing against them, but it doesn't seem like there's very many arms out of the girls for Boss.
Okay.
So they all understood their role as supplying the arms with balls.
Makes sense.
And catching and sweeping if they can, right? I mean,
'Cause that's huge. That wins games,
All
yeah.
that's going to come right with the amount of times they keep playing, and playing at this top level will only. Now, when they go home and play their nightly weeks, will slow right down for them. Right now that they've played this, and they'll be able to work on those skills, I think, a bit more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I was at the pub night. I was talking to one of them there. I asked them just how much they prepared for this, and they said a lot. Like he couldn't say it enough. And he's like, there's nights where we could play dodgeball and whatever, but afterwards we'll go over to Angus's house and just watch video.
Yeah.
Watch video of all of you guys.
Yeah.
We know who all of you are.
That's savage. I love that. That's super
Yeah.
cool, man.
We knew they did that anyways already to like leading up to last Calgary, but now he's like this year we watch videos on all you guys. So
Nice, because that's
Cool.
what you got to do. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you want to study your opponent, like
Well,
you
it's no
come in,
different
be
than like a
prepared.
professional sport, right?
Yeah.
It's technology. We have the opportunity to
Yeah.
do that, right?
But
So-
it really did show though. Like I think them more than anyone, like their improvement was like drastic. Not that they were terrible last year. No, they weren't. It's just that this year they just did so well and like all the groups and all the brackets, right? So yeah, good to see.
All right,
Yeah.
so
You're kind of covered, boss.
yeah, we did 2-1 there. What do you guys think about the CDL?
So here's something about the CDL. If the CDL wants to be competitive, they need to start drawing more people. They need to get out into the community and they need to touch on what they have out there and they need to get more players through. you've got players that started there that are now just leaving there and like playing wherever they want to play with the competitively, and it's almost like that isn't the league that they want to go to be competitive or to represent as being competitive. I mean, and there's got to be population of ball players out there, college kids that are out there that could come and want to try this out. And so I think they really need to maybe almost regroup and like go get some more players in their league start develop some more players, because it's like if that's all they're going to have, like what they brought is what they'll have next year. There's not going to be any new faces. There's going to be no guys like myself or the Cody V's, these new guys, right? There's going to be no new guys like that to come spark up the conversation. So unless the guys that they have are going to get so much better than they already are right now. I mean, which, don't get me wrong, there's good players, but these players are going to get surpassed, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, their lineup still looked, on any given CDL playoffs, Shane's team looked like they could have won CDL playoffs. I think that team on paper has the skills to do it, but like they would almost need the drive to like practice the way that SDL did and like get sort of a game plan or something.
Yeah, I think those guys maybe just needed a little bit more time playing together. I mean, there's guys on that team that played together, but as a whole, that group has probably never played much together.
Yeah.
But yeah, all solid players. I mean, they could do damage for sure.
I think
if they did it again.
Yeah, I noticed Razvan wasn't there, was he?
He's in Romania.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he was not in town.
Well, then that's a huge loss, kind of.
I don't think he would have been picked for that second team. I think he would have ended up on the third team. Just based on conversations that I've had with people over there, it seemed like it's like Razvan's seen in a couple different lights. Like, unilaterally, very good player, but also seen as a very individual player. And unless your team is built in a way that can work around an individual player, it can be disruptive. Like, Mark Williams is fine being an individual player, but you can't have two of those players on a team.
Or just put them all on one team, see what happens.
Chaos. But yeah, I think CDL, maybe in hindsight, or not in hindsight, sorry, but I think they expected better from their teams, and they didn't hit the level that they wanted to. They didn't get the placing that they wanted to. And that'll be something for them to address before next year's ToC.
Yeah, I noticed some of the out of town teams were taking them out as well. I think the Weaklings again took out that Shane's team, which is still on any given CDL playoffs, that could have been a team that took it. Yep. And you need to be a decent team to win. Minute to win, it took the CDL playoffs. You need to be a good team to win any of these leagues playoffs, but. To see an out-of-town team take them, I couldn't tell what's going on. Maybe it was being hungover, I don't know. They do enjoy the party, apparently.
They really do.
Party.
So I guess RDL, I didn't see much RDL at the tournament. I
didn't either. I think we actually played two RDL teams, too, in the round robin. But, based on their results, it was kind of par for the course. They're a league that their skill level isn't there in relation to the other three local leagues. It's still developing. They still have an incredibly small population of players.
Yeah.
And kind of like what Decker was saying about Coquitlam, they need to get out into the community and pull in more players, because right now they don't really have something that's identifies as Richmond. I don't know what signifies what makes Richmond Richmond in relation to Surrey or to
I'll tell you,
Vancouver.
baseball and badminton. Richmond has all the badminton courts, and nice facilities too. They need to recruit some of those guys, because
get a new Billy
U, Sam Coe, these are guys that they have badminton mechanics, and that's why the curves come out so sharp. And I would love it if they could get more badminton people out. High level badminton people are amazing dodgeball players by default, because the court movement and the mechanics is all very similar.
Footwork is really for sure. Footwork is important.
Yeah. In Richmond, their teams are all, for the most part, transplant players. Yeah. They aren't players that started in Richmond. They all started somewhere else.
They go to play another night of the week out there, right?
Yeah.
I guess it does kind of, it hurts a bit to be so close to VDL. It's really just Knight Street. You either turn on Knight Street or you go down and you're at Richmond.
They don't have a big pool to grab from.
Richmond still has a pretty healthy population. That's the thing. It's they're not pulling people in from that population. You know, like the EBC kids. You know, it would make more sense for them to play out in Richmond than it does in Vancouver, because they'd have to go away from Point Grey to East Van instead of just hopping across the bridge.
So they got some development to go through, I guess. Let's talk about the Seattle teams. I'm beyond impressed by the Seattle teams at this tournament. Just the level, like the three teams. Was there just three?
There was three. There was
Dano,
Dano,
Team Squad, and Weaklings.
Yeah.
All three of them. Whenever I would watch the court, they were winning games. I didn't see them getting manhandled by anyone. So I guess Dano lost to Spartans. Was that who bumped him out of the tournament?
Yes.
So I mean, okay, fair enough. Spartans was one of the few VDL teams that came and were like playing legit.
Oh, did they? Or was it? Oh, they knocked Dano out of the winners bracket.
Oh wow! Okay.
And then Dano lost to Weaklings and the losers.
Whoa, that's not on tape somewhere? Or no, I think I saw they might have posted it on their website or their Facebook. Okay, I didn't realize that was bumping them out. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible because they don't play our rule set, and they seemed like they came in and they had it figured out. And like, I was talking to them, they were really hungry about like. They wanted to know more about the game, and so like, well, I can tell you what I know about the game, but I'm not like King Dodgeball here. I know what I think of the game, but they wanted to know everything, which I loved hearing. I loved that they had like so much enthusiasm for it. And during those when they went down to one court, I couldn't help but like keep watching across the court, and I saw like members from all three of the teams like smiling and clapping the entire time, like they were impressed, or at least they were enjoying the dodgeball that was happening. Like that's just a good thing to see, like that sort of. Yeah. Cross-league mingling like that?
Definitely gave a few Seattle players big hugs after we won too.
Nice.
Yeah, I think Bill came over with a big smile, and I picked him up and carried him around for a little bit. But yeah, no, just it was a great experience. They played well. They got better as the weekend went on, and I'm excited to see how they do next year.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope there's more, and we're going back down there for some foam, playing their rules, so we'll see how that goes.
I think it's really cool out of this. Like we're already seeing like the girls team going down to Seattle. You guys are going down there. I know you've already been down there once before, but I think there's going to be a lot more cross-border action going on because these teams came up. They had such good attitudes. That's the other thing. Like, they're phenomenal players, but to be so friendly and so nice and build those friendships like that's a big thing too.
Let's try and get Portland up here next year too. Alan
and San Fran,
Ricky,
San Francisco.
I was waiting for that all day.
Maybe they'll come up.
Yeah, but yeah. So who's left?
The last team, Toronto.
Toronto, of course, Chimera, fantastic. To finish tied for sixth in a set of rules that they're not used to,
and balls they're not used to.
Yeah,
they're used to those ones.
See that?
Yeah, here you go. There's no weight to it.
I think, you know what I noticed? One of their guys, the tall guy, Lasiak, I don't remember his first name. He was actually, like, you could see him, like, with these balls, he was looking for something. I think he was looking for the hole because he wants to cover it. Because with these balls, I think it's better if you cover the hole because then you can give it a little more, like, a tense grip.
He was like this. He was,
right?
And he was playing one?
Yeah.
And he's doing this.
So I kept, and on the video, I'm pausing and I'm trying to see what he's doing because, like, I want to know, like, I want to know everything there is to know about dodgeball. And, like, if that's working for him, I want to know why. Like, why do you want to find that? And so I wonder if he was actually plugging the hole with his thumb so that he could grip it the way he's used to. Because I can't grip our balls where I plug the hole. It just wouldn't make sense. Like, I need to dig my fingers in. But, like, to see that you can do it without having to do that, like, that's now I need to learn why. And, the wheels are spinning once again. But overall, man, both Toronto teams, too. I think I watched...
Care Bears?
Care Bears. I watched them beat Shane's team. And that was when Shane's team was still playing pretty legit. And that was like a Game 5 sort of situation, I think. I can't recall exactly how far it went, but yeah, like the thing I think with these balls is they're used to the ball coming fast, they're already used to it, and they're used to it curving a lot because these balls have really violent dips. And I think that just makes it so when you come to our leagues, like they were naturally elevated just in terms of like the pace. And that would be so badass to go to it's kind of like us going down to the rubber where it's like, oh, these don't come as fast, so like I have time to react. I just can't throw it properly, which is shitty. But
yeah, we could catch. We couldn't do anything else.
I could see it coming. I just can't do anything about throwing it at people. Yeah, I thought to come in sixth, too, for Chimera, that's really...
Sixth or fifth?
It's a tie.
They're tied with us.
Tied for fifth, tied for fifth, so yeah. So yeah, no, it was great. It was awesome to see. I hope they come back next year, and we hope to see more of them. Are we gonna sign that ball at some point?
I don't know. I don't know what's supposed
T, what do you
You
want?
gotta keep it clean.
I think we gotta keep it clean
Keep it clean. All right.
until Trong says we can keep it.
I think we got.
We're just not giving it back.
I think we got to put the SDL logo up top. And do a little rearranging.
Yeah,
of
let's get the screwdrivers out here.
The order, yeah.
So we had Toronto and Seattle and Boston there too somehow.
Yeah, get
Yeah.
a couple more logos on there.
3 more sides. Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
Well, that was ToC.
And then maybe we should start putting the champion team names along the side.
Yeah,
right?
just pay for it. Yeah, pay for it to get like bolted on.
Yeah, you get like
Sorry.
everybody gets their own little plate and puts it on
That's
each
what,
year, right?
CDL does.
Yeah.
Dodgeball, I choose you.
Yeah.
Ballistics, bananas, minute. Not
Yeah.
too shabby. It's a good company to be in.
Yeah, it's a cool
Maybe so many teams.
it's a cool
Pardon?
list.
I know all these
Okay.
people.
Isn't there
Just saying.
two teams
Two
so
teams,
far?
yeah.
There have been 4 TOCs.
What?
There have been 4. There have been 2 big ones, but there have been 4 in total.
When were the other 2?
Way back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like how far back?
How many teams?
7 or 8 years. First one I think was maybe 16 or maybe 12 or 16 teams. Second one was in like 20, 24 range. So
All in VDL?
VDL and CDL.
Did I just not hear about these? Because I was around at that time.
You were around at that time,
What the
yeah.
hell was
Weren't
I
they calling it the JDRF Open or something like that?
That's a totally different event.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
What was that though?
that was a big charity tournament. But yeah, no, it's there's been 4.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
I bring the history.
Yeah, they got the told you the nomad of dodgeball. All right, well that's all I can think of, guys. Unless is there anything that we forgot to cover?
I think the only thing that we need to do is maybe it's a programming note for us.
For next one,
Yeah,
why don't you break the news?
absolutely. 3 guys from Seattle were really super kind and actually gave us beer.
Yes,
And loved the podcast.
and a
you
ball,
know.
a fresh ball
Yeah,
that's
fresh
deflated
ball.
properly.
Yeah, they were super cool. We've known them since our first trip down there. Michael, Bill, and Vincent. And when we go down there for the foam tournament, we're going to do a podcast with the 3 of them.
Oh, sweet.
So our next podcast will be in Seattle with Seattle people talking about ToC and the Seattle Dodgeball League.
Nice.
So that's gonna be great. Like and it's already beginning the like interleague mingling, but it was natural and it was their suggestion too. Like they're on board with the podcast idea, which is great. Like it's they get it. They speak the language of dodgeball, so it's funny that it's just a natural thing. Like of course, oh my god, what a great idea.
Yeah, and we will potentially start looking at when we're in Calgary doing a podcast with a couple of them. So right now things are looking pretty good. We're really excited for these upcoming shows, and yeah, thank you to you 3, Joey, Decker, T, for joining us.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thank
Thanks
you
for having
having
us.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Thanks for eating the Timbits, not like
Yeah.
last time.
Hey,
I think we got a couple words out of T too.
That's
I
right.
know, yeah.
Cracked his shell just a bit.
That wasn't the plan, but
What a time to be alive. What a time.
All right, thanks a lot, boys. Peace.
Peace.
Cheers. See you on the courts.